Good evening and welcome to Forge from Iron and another episode of the Hammertime of Our Lives series that we're doing. And this week we're going to talk about the 1987-1988 season. And joining me as always is my partner in crime and the gentleman who decided he was going to leave me standing and embarrassed in the quiz, Mr. Robert Gates. How are we, sir?
Have you not got over that? Are you still bitter and twisted?
Listen, I'll be bitter and twisted until the day I die. All right, let's leave it at that.
I thought you didn't hold a grudge, honestly.
And the other usual guest on this show, Mr. Miles. How you doing, sir?
Good afternoon / evening. I am very well.
Fantastic.
I'm very well. Enjoying the long weekend.
We've only ever had long weekends for the last year, Andy. What are you on about? Well, some of us anyway.
Official.
And this evening, joining the three of us is a very special guest. Let's bring him in. Good evening, Jas. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Very well. I'm about to talk about the love of my life, and I'm sure I can say the same for everyone else. So, yeah, very happy. Very happy to be invited on, and very excited as well. It's a period that's very close to my heart, obviously, growing up. Yeah, excellent. Doing really well, thank you.
Good. Right, so, as you said earlier, we're going to talk about the 87-88 season. Now, I'd like to chip in with a few facts. This week, I'm going to sit out with my games, and I'm going to give up my position of my favourite games and my Hammer of the Year to Jas. But I'm still going to do my bit. So this season, the Football League started off its celebrations for its centenary year with a match between the Football League 11 and the World 11. And the World 11 contains such stars as Diego Maradona, Michel Platini, and a Mr. Gary Lineker, who was at Barcelona at the time. But they lost. The Football League 11 beat them 3-0. Goals from Mr. Norman Whiteside, for those who may or may not remember him. And Brian Robson bagged 2 in that game. And if I remember rightly, off the bench came a future West Ham, I'm not going to say star. I refuse to say star. A future West Ham, I think he put on the shirt a couple of times. And he turned up. Yeah, he left Ivory in a huff. Was Paolo Futre. Yeah, he played in that game. Barclays Bank took over the sponsorship of the Football League this season. 2 weeks before the start of the season, because the Today newspaper cancelled their sponsorship of the league. 4 signings for you for this season. Tottenham signed Johnny Met-Hod for 250 grand. Derby signed Peter Shilton for 90 grand. 90 grand.
Great signing.
Coventry signed David Speedy from Chelsea for 750 grand.
Wow.
Glenn Hoddle left Spurs 2 weeks after Met-Hod signed to join Monaco for 800 grand. So they did all right out of that, I think.
So, hang on a minute. So Johnny Met-Hod was Glenn Hoddle's
replacement, essentially. It's not a bad shout, is it? You don't, you know. 2 signings in at Upton Park this season. My hero, my personal hero, this man here. He joined Julian Dix. And he was also brought in alongside Leroy Rossinier. But the perma bleach blonde man himself left us this season and joined Celtic, leaving us with only one recognised striker in Tony Cottee until Rossinier was signed. So there's my bits, boys. A little bit of useless information. You know I love to start these with a bit
love it. Brilliant.
Absolute tosh. Yeah, Andy, I'm going to let you go first. I quite enjoy your boom and your oosh and all the rest of the malarkey. You give your highlights. So, son, give it to me.
Right.
Tell me your 3 games.
My 3 games. I'm going to start off with the West Ham Liverpool game. So as I said, I started my homework. I've got all the DVDs. I managed to get them from Cross Hammers. So during lockdown, I especially, but over the past week, I've watched this again, and this is the game what sticks to mind, the Liverpool game. The main reason why I picked it, not only because of the scoreline finished 1-1, but it was more to do with the Liverpool players who they had in their team. Obviously, I didn't see them play, but watching it and what they've heard. So the main examples for me are obviously Grobbelaar in goal, Alan Hansen, Nigel Spackman, John Barnes, and Peter Beardsley. So, and of course, Mr. Douglas himself, who's the manager. This game had a lot of controversy, and but the main reason was because of a huge thunderstorm before the game. It made the pitch horrendous, but that will come into our favour later on in the game. But the game started on the back foot for us with a few mistakes giving the ball away, and Alvin Martin let the ball go over his head on the 4th minute, and John Aldridge hit a hard, powerful drive near post, but great save from McAllister. So that was starting to be a nightmare, to be honest. And reading a lot of reports, they were saying that this could have been a hammering, so to speak. Moving further on in the first half, a bad pass across the back from Liverpool, which the ball just literally stopped in the middle of the field, and it literally just stopped, and it allowed Mark Wall to hit a shot from some distance, which done another good save from Grobbelaar. The magic man in the middle for them, John Barnes, just drove through our midfield, left us all for dead, and then played a great pass to John Aldridge, who cut inside and was very lucky that he hit the post. And then Ray Stewart and Robson started linking up well for us from the throw-in, and a left foot Frank McAvenny with a chest. Great pass to Robson and another good save. Everyone, for a 0-0 at this point, it did have everything in this game. The second half didn't start very well for us. Liverpool on the back foot, and a penalty was given. I don't know whether we've mentioned, but the past few games I've done, and Mr. Paris gave away another penalty. He made a habit of them, in my opinion. The highlights what I've seen, and it was another horrible challenge. And then Liverpool stepped up and scored right in the bottom corner, sent McAllister the wrong way. Where was I? Sorry, I do apologise. We were given a gift from Alan Hansen, who played a no-look pass, and Mr. TC took advantage of it, put it around the keeper and slot into the bottom corner. We were lucky in the end with Liverpool missing a couple of good chances, but the reason why I picked it is the Liverpool side from back then and the players what they had. So that was my main reason. I don't know if any of you boys have any memories from that game or not. Really, I can move on.
Jas, what was your memories of that Liverpool side? Because Andy, just listening to you say about that Liverpool side in that game was just something else, wasn't it? That was a banging set of players.
I remember 85-86, West Ham 2, Liverpool 2, and I remember McAvenny saying they used to just pass you to death. Pass and pass, pass and pass, pass and pass. And we still had that rule where you could pass it back to the goalkeeper. They were so efficient, Europe's top team. And then what I wanted to talk about, because I missed the previous season, I think the previous season has got a lot to do with what happened in this season. And by that, I mean in terms of when I looked at 86-87 alongside 87-88, it's the transfer dealings, Duke and Gatesy. I can't believe how shocking. I'm going to have to... We talk very highly of John Lyle, and rightly so, as a legend. But when he got sacked, I've got to be honest, a lot of the fans saw it coming. It was a very tired John Lyle, a very aging John Lyle, and same backroom team. And when I look at 86, 87, it says no signings until third of the season has gone.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens in 87, 88. There's nothing going on. Stuart Robson, Liam Brady, McQueen, Gary Strodder. That's the season before what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to say another thing controversial, which is I believe Liam Brady, in terms of Division 1, what was the Premiership, I'm not sure if he was quite there in terms of his best years had gone. He came home and he told John, listen, I like the way you play football. Pay me whatever you want without disturbing the wages. And John mentions in his book, that was a pleasure to deal with. And the good memories we have of Liam, don't forget, is when we went down after 89, 90, when I started to go. So when we were in the Premiership, we remember the Arsenal game, him jumping into chicken run. Of course we do. But these are the harsh reality of we didn't bring anyone in that was better than what we've got, which is why I keep going back to good things we're doing at the moment. So that's what hit me in the ground. And what else hit me was, McAvenny's dwindling form. Yeah. And my respect for Cotty jumped up when I started looking at these stats, which I'd forgotten over the years. He kept banging them in the next 2 years. And when we go back to 87, 88, what we're talking about right now, again, I don't think John really went in anywhere. I mean, all right, we got Dix over the line on deadline day, the last day, and obviously Rossinia. But don't forget, we didn't have the restriction of the transfer window. So John didn't have any reason not to go in any earlier. And he controlled the club from top to bottom. Yeah. And I cannot see the board saying, John, we're not going to give you the money. I know Phil Parks has been quite vocal, and I like him for that, saying we were 2-3 players short twice in John's era in winning the league. One was 83, 84, 82, 83. And we did it again, like 2-3 players short. We would have walked it. Nothing came in again. And what I wanted to look at was the players other teams were signing, just to wake up everyone's memory, saying we could have got these people over the line. So the season before, I'm looking at people like Dean Saunders. He went from Brighton to Oxford, 86, 87. I absolutely love that guy. David Seaman went from Birmingham to QPR, and we knew Phil's times were, and this season particularly, McAllister plays most of the games. Tim Flowers was a guy that John Lyle had him under his banner from day one. A lot of people might not know, but John Lyle was an encyclopedia of football. So when Alex Ferguson came in the 86 season, he didn't know anything about football. He was lost. He rang John up because John was one of the top 2-3 people, the gods of football that you go to. And John said, here's my booklet. It's that big. Go and keep it. It mentions every player at every club. Everything you need is a dossier, mate. Go and keep it. So I'm surprised why John didn't go into that area, and David Hurst, really. And when we go into 87, 88, if I mention the players that were transferred, like Lee Dixon, Alan Smith, Kevin Wilson, Mark Wright, Paul Parker, Paul Walsh. Dorigo I'm not going to mention because he picked Dix, and hats off to John for that. So... And he had Swindlehurst, obviously not in terms of buying, because I actually used to love the guy. And he signed for Wimbledon the season we're talking about, 87, 88, from a club in Cyprus, I believe. Ray Houghton, Sheringham, Cascarino, Millwall, they weren't tapped up for a good while. We could have got them in if we wanted.
Yeah, cracking
so
players
so that's all I wanted to say, was that these 2 seasons were very, very hard for West Ham fans, and largely due to really not going to the transfer market aggressively like we should have. We were the 3rd best team in the league. We had great players, great manager, and why didn't we do it? I'm just banging my head, mate. Yeah.
Do you think, Jas, just sort of like throwing it out there, do you think that part of the reason why from 85, 86 that we went on this decline over the next 3 seasons that resulted in us getting relegated, do you think that a large part of that was that John Lyle was too loyal to some of the players that were possibly past their best?
He wasn't loyal in 77, 78. He got rid of all of them. He got rid of all of them when Devonshire Parks came in. Ray Stewart, he said, listen, I want a clean slate. I want you guys. So back then, I don't want to say it, because I believe a lot of it's to do with age. I think you're at your peak in your life, and then it's hard to carry on. I think Fergie's an exception. I don't know how he carried on, but even at the end, they believe Fergie. If you carried on another 2 years, you would have seen it. The squad was coming to the end.
He knew.
So you're right. Like Billy Bonds, Alvin Martin, Tony Gale. Yeah, there had been Devonshire, Ray Stewart. They had been under 7-8 years by then.
Yeah,
and they were injured a lot, and they were like his trusted guys. We say, which is the naughty word that you should. And that's the thing I rate Fergie a little bit above Lyle is that he didn't give a crap. So Jap Stam, Paul Ince, he got rid of them. The fans like, what? And then we knew afterwards, they thought, oh, God, that was the right decision, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It could have been. Stuart Robson came in, and I know McAvenny said he wasn't passing it to me quick enough. That quick 1-2 that we're doing, it wasn't happening with him. He's a great player, but he was stopping the ball too often. A lot of reasons, mainly... You're partially right, and partially maybe he needed a stronger number 2. I mean, he got too comfortable, but back then that's what they did. Gatesy, they didn't change the backroom team.
It was different, wasn't it? Because of course it wasn't the Premier League back then, and so it wasn't sort of like the money wasn't there to the degree that it is now. You know, where you've got this big disparity between the top tier and the second tier in terms of money. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. Obviously, it's a completely different era, different times, different motivations. I think that my personal opinion is I think that John Lyall was a fantastic manager for West Ham, but those last 3 years, looking back, I think that possibly his downfall was that he was too loyal for too long to certain players who were past their peak and were on the decline and really needed replacing. But because he'd had that relationship, if you will, of, you know, the father figure to certain players, I think he found it quite difficult to let go. That's how I read it from the outside looking in.
Especially because 85, 86, they done so well. You're absolutely right, great.
Yeah.
70 or 79, they never did it for him. He didn't know who they were. Half of them were Ron Greenwood. You're right, 85, 86. They served them so well. Another thing is, when you talk about this season, 87, 88, and you talk about sort of people that we could have brought in, McAvenny left after game 7 or 8. And he didn't sort of light fireworks the year before. Cotty carried on. And then I remember he chased Kerry Dixon, Mick Harford, and no one wanted to come. Mick Harford said, listen, we're in the latter stages of both the cups. I think they got to the Rumbelows Cup back then, lost to Arsenal. Kerry Dixon would have been controversial, moving from Chelsea, our big rivals. I used to love Kerry. I thought he was a great package, big boy. He got his head and leg in the end of everything. And then we got Rosinha, who great signing, very injury prone. He had everything in the game, physical, good on the head and everything. Those are the kind of things we need to look for. And you can't play Dickens with Cotty up front for the most of the season.
Well, that was it, wasn't it? Because Dickens was the sort of like essentially the replacement for McAvenny until Rosinha walked through the door. And he was not a striker, you know, he was a midfielder. It's crazy.
And when we look back, you cannot blame when Tony left as a 15 and 14 whatever kid. I was upset as anything. I was cursing him. Our hero had gone. But when I look back, I said, Tony, you really didn't have any choice. You know, the board or the manager didn't help you. You're on your own with Dickens, and you're still top scorer. You're running Essex 800-meter champion, I think he was back in the day, or 1,500, doing everything you can, and still came back. And then we got people like Stroder, Hilton.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Tommy McQueen. Eamon Dolan, I think, was there.
Tommy, John always liked Scotland as a market, like we know, and his background. You know, he always loved to bring one or two. You wanted to get Paul Sturrock at one time. Ray Stewart came from there, and Tom McAllister was from there anyway. And
Neil Orr.
Neil Orr. So it's a good old
legend.
Neil Orr, that's the only one season, Gates, he played like more than probably 10 games. Yeah. He was injured from under 21 from Morton, if I remember.
Yep,
He's a
player
of the season, the young player. Look out for him, and always good in the encyclopedia, wasn't he? Which player begins with O, like Neil Orr, like many like him.
It was the one you had to pick.
And before I stop waffling on, so these are the players who went in 86, 87. Again, we could have got sort of 87, 88, over the line. Yeah, actually, I mentioned them anyway. Paul Walsh, Paul Parker were two that came to my line, and Mark Wright. I thought we could have, maybe one of those, mate. Yeah.
No, like I said, this is what I was going to say. This is why I love doing this channel. Like Jas, like I said, I wasn't even born when this season was happening. But people with like your memories, it makes you feel like a part. And it's like, don't get me wrong, the seasons weren't that great, but the memories what always stick up there. And like I said, this is the main reason why I do it, mate. And it's just
we were all at school and we didn't have a mortgage, we didn't have a family. Our life was two things, and Gatesy and Duke going to laugh now. One was easy, wasn't it? Oh, the other was Panini sticker albums, mate.
Going into school, and anyone got any swapsies?
Oh my God!
Again, confiscated if you get caught at the back of the class. Like we got.
Oh,
like you're some sort of drug dealer, wouldn't you? Like, under the table,
back of the bike sheds.
Yeah. What you got?
Rubber bands, and big rubber bands. Yeah.
Oh. You know.
Anyway.
Carry on, Andy. Give me your. Where will we at? First half or second half? I can't even bloody remember.
No. That game's over now, mate. Sorry, it went.
Oh, we're done with that one. We're on the game 2.
My next game is the Southampton game. The reason why I picked this one as well was more of the football, and it's like, I know it's very stereotypical. It was the West Ham way, but the way this game was played, it was the West Ham way, in my opinion, and. We started off very well with long ball up, and Tony Cottee done a great header, and it was just left in space, and Kevin Keane just run on ahead of me, and literally he just smashed it from the edge of the box straight into the top corner. It was just a great goal, to be honest. But Stuart Robson literally was a carbon copy of the Alan Hansen chance. What I said when we scored, he just played a no-look pass, and Southampton had a couple of chances to score, and eventually they scored. And it was that was really disappointing. You could even see in the way the players were reacting. Obviously, this was just watching the review. In the first half, we were very unlucky again. Tony Cottee done his magic on the edge of the box, and he just whipped a shot, and the goalkeeper done a very good save. So yeah, that was real chances in the first half. The second half got underway. And Mr. Wall played a great ball to Paris, and he whipped it in first time. And Cottee literally just jumped from about the penalty spot with a great header down, and the keeper done another good save. Then Mr. Ward was involved again. Like I said, this is just everyone just raves about him. And I remember Jas, you saying as well what he's like as a person as well at the West Ham Way events, and you can just see why people respect him that much, to be honest.
What I didn't want to mention was Mark is a feisty little git, I tell you. So what he does at that event, oh my God, anyone even breathes, he goes, who's that? Shut up. Who's that? You're listening or you know? I've been known to hide behind a pillar, mate, as well.
Really? Imagine what would happen if your phone went off. I bet he'd go nuts, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would. I mean, I forgot my ex-employee mentioned he would have cracked up. Yeah, Mark is on my. I've got a picture with him. Mark's like
typical Scouser.
But I tell you what, he's a strong lad, and what he's been through, it would take someone to. Yeah, you can imagine. I would not want to be a fullback with him, mate. You must be joking.
Just wanted to ask you guys, because obviously Billy Bonds, obviously everyone raves so highly of him, and the way, does he remind you a bit of Declan Rice or not really? Or is it? Too hard?
No,
you know what?
Yeah, fair question. Yeah, I mean,
the way he used to carry himself in a game. You know what? I've not really put too much to it, because obviously, you know, you get the links of Deck with Bobby more often than not. You know, coming through, and the same sort of confidence on the ball. But you know what? Yeah, putting if you put them up alongside each other, their kind of playing styles would be incredibly similar. Yeah, the confidence on the ball, the way he used to bring the ball out of the back. Yeah, mate, I'm bang on with you there. Yeah.
Yeah, no. The reason why was because this chance what we created, literally, it was like, do you know how Deck does? He just gets like ahead and just gets that slight touch, but the touch what he gets, he always gets it to go to the to our player. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a tackle where it's a hit and hope. So yeah, that's where I sort of got the comparing from it.
Duke's right. Don't forget, Rice was a centre back, and Duke is right. There's a more similarity with Bobby Moore, the way he sidesteps people, takes it from them in the right moment. I've seen that more than Bonzo was a kind of more of a bang, whereas Rice seems to time it like Moro a lot more, and obviously never loses it. And because under Greenwood, it was a Hungarian football knowledge that Greenwood tried to put into West Ham that kind of don't keep it, you know. Like Alvin said, like when he came to West Ham, he used to head it and he went 30, 40 meters and he was really proud of that. And John's like, that's really good, but what are you doing with it? Why don't you bring it down, chest it, give it your player? And Alvin's like, these are even Bobby Gould, Duke said, when Bobby Gould joined West Ham, he didn't have to trap a ball. So when they went to West Ham, he goes, shit, that's why we were the academy back then. Hopefully those days will come back. We were cultured footballers, you know, how to bring it down and chest it. And that's why, Duke, when people say the game's got a lot faster, I refuse to watch any of the football matches under John Lyle from the kickoff. It is rapid. Your wing backs go, Ray Stewart go that way, Walford, whatever, that way, Wardy, Devo. It's very fast football, mate. Very fast, end to end, and
we're always on the front foot, even if it didn't play out the way we wanted it to.
Exactly.
We were always on the front foot,
and superb control. Every player, Gailey, Martin, where are you going to find cultured centre backs like that? And that's why I used to get upset why England never. That's why I've never been that much of a follower of England. I'm always upset how our players were always dealt a bad sort of cards. You know, I was always unhappy.
Yeah.
Dick's not being picked because his haircut isn't right. Ray Stewart, Scotland told him, didn't even pick him for 86. McAvenny, he'd rather pick a person like Paul Sturrock or someone like that up front instead of him in the 86 season. Martin, Terry Fenwick ahead of Alvin Martin against the Argentina team. It's a crime, mate. It's a crime, mate. You know, I could go on and on. That's why I'm always a bit hesitant, mate, but hopefully that gets better.
Yeah. And I think we all know, don't we, that you know, some of the players you talk about there, Jazz, if you'd have taken them and put them, and I've said this about some of our players even today, that if you take them and put them into a Manchester United shirt, you put them into a Liverpool shirt, you put them into a Chelsea shirt, on and on, do those players then get picked for England? Well, very probably, yes. And that's the thing. I hate this snobbery of, you know, well, because they're playing for West Ham, they can't be any good because they're not playing in the Champions League. They're not playing in, you know, Europa League, this, that, and the other. And it's like that myth has been expelled with Declan Rice, in my opinion, because I think right there, we've got a world-class player that irrespective of whether we're playing against European competition or not, he has to be in the England team. And he's, you know, you look at the last 2 England games he's played, man of the match.
Yeah. I think it's even that though. Everyone was surprised in the 2002 World Cup when Sinclair was playing. Sinclair deserved to start for England in that World Cup, and you see a lot of other clubs like didn't see the fascination with him until he went and played in that World Cup, and he played brilliant on that left-hand side for England, didn't he? And I think that will always be the case unless we're fighting in the top 4. Our players will never get the credit they deserve, really.
But here's the thing. Don't forget with Sinclair, he never originally made the squad. It was only that he got the injury, and he was on the standby list. So if Murphy hadn't have got the injury, Sinclair wouldn't have played in that.
Good point, Gatesy. I forgot that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, no, he was only on the standby list. It was only because Danny Murphy got an injury. He was the first cab off the rank.
Yeah, and we've been very fortunate with goalkeepers, obviously. Goalkeepers, I think, are a bit of an exception, really. Obviously, we've had Greeno and David James. But when you think about it, really, since before Deck, I can't remember. What was it? Carlton Cole, probably the last, and Creswell, really, to play for or be even in and around the squad. So, yeah, we've been very unlucky, really. But like I said,
I think 86... I had a lot of respect for Terry Butcher. Hands up, he was our best centre back. I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
Apart, if he wasn't around, you could have easily said Gale and Martin together, 2 footballing centre backs off the season they had. And Terry Fenwick, I don't like Tottenham anyway, and there you go, no chance. Terry Fenwick ahead of Alvin Martin. Gatesy, I've got to ask your opinion on that, and Duke as well. Come on, mate.
Not in a million years. Not
It's like
in a
Eric
million
Dyer now,
years.
isn't it? It's like
He
Eric
played
Dyer
Martin
now.
against Paraguay, and the Martin's like, my dad came down to Mexico to watch me, Argentina, and we don't know what's going to happen, and we saw the Maradona goal. There you go, mate.
Well,
listen, he wouldn't have got that goal if Martin had been playing.
Love it.
He wouldn't have done. He wouldn't. Listen, the way he sidesteps Fenwick in the box for that goal, it wouldn't have happened.
I think Butch and Martin would have been amazing together, mate. Amazing.
Yep, I couldn't agree more.
Sorry, this is just my last bit of our last goal winner, what we scored against Southampton. It was Paris. He was playing on the left, and literally, I don't know whether he meant it or not, but the pass was it literally took 5 players out of the game. Literally, the pass through, and then Alan Dickens literally just done a turn and just smashed it in the bottom corner. That was that. Like I said, these highlights you've seen them, Gates, and all that. Like some games are like 15 minutes, aren't they, on the review, and then some of them are like 2, and it's like, where'd you get the info from? You
don't get much else, do you? Yeah, exactly.
But no, this is my last one, I promise. And sorry, before we don't have to do a correction for next week. Can someone? This is the West Ham Newcastle game. Can someone please tell me who the Brazilian striker was for me, please?
Mirandinha.
Yeah. I had a look at his goal scoring record, but I found 2 articles. I thought it was good, and they said he showed flashes of brilliance, but they called him an expensive failure. Can I have?
Yeah.
Is that very harsh for him or not?
No, I think that's probably accurate.
Makes sense, mate. We never had many Brazilians back then, did we?
Yeah, he was the first. He was the first. He was the first.
Yeah, you know what? Just going by what Jay said there, we didn't have a great deal. And you saying that you've seen there, Andy, you've seen the news reports, because we didn't have a huge amount of Brazilians coming into the country to ply their trade. When you look at Brazil of old and the kind of the players that were in the World Cups and things like that, and you watch them, when you were bringing in Brazilians then back in the 80s, you would have kind of hoped that you were getting one of those Brazilians, you know, Garrincha and Pele and all of those kind of players. You know, you were hoping you get, and I can imagine Newcastle fans would have thought, yeah, we got Brazilian. And then he walks down the steps of the plane, gets to St James's Park, and
I bet the weather was a shock, wasn't it? I bet the weather was a shock for him.
Yeah, I bet. You know, he's used to being on the Copacabana, and he rocks up in Tyneside. I bet that was a shock.
To be fair, though, that was no difference to who was it? Who was the little Brazilian? We saw him in, was it La Tournoise or something against England?
Oh, Juninho.
Juninho. I can imagine he had the same thing when he rocked up at Middlesbrough. You know, I can imagine.
He made Lanzini look like a target man, didn't he? The height-wise.
Oh, didn't he?
He went to Middlesbrough 3 separate occasions. He had 3 separate spells at Middlesbrough. He had 3 separate spells.
You'll have to pay me to go up there, mate. I mean, in terms of hanging around him all the day.
You know. Once the ICI factory closed, it was like, well, what's the point of Middlesbrough?
I worked in ICI Slough. They got their corporate office in their Berkshire Slough. I worked there for a bit. I remember that. Jesus Christ! But you're right. Northeast. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Carry on, Andy.
I think Middlesbrough away is probably one of the worst grounds to go to. I think that and Sunderland. It's a long way away.
I heard the old Roker Park was mad. The old Roker Park, like all the wind coming from the channel and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've heard about that.
I love the documentary though. By the way, I keep watching it. I just love that documentary on Amazon on Sunderland. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it.
I haven't yet. No.
Gatesy, it's addictive, mate. You got to watch it.
Oh, Gatesy, you've got to watch it, mate. I watched it at the start of a year ago during the first lockdown, and I've got to say, Andy, have you seen it, Andy?
Yeah.
It's like
If you think things get bad for us,
you can't even make it
you feel
up.
happier watching that.
You can't make it up.
Does the series start when they've been relegated, or was it when they were still in the Premier League?
Just before Coleman came in, Chris. Just before. So when they went down to the.
So they had Moyes in charge at the time.
No. After that, so first division.
When they were struggling in the first year.
When they went down to the first division from the Premiership, then it goes down to the second division. Yeah.
But it's when they're sitting there and they're talking about free striker transfers, and he goes, "What's Ibrahimovic doing at the bottom of this list?" No, you couldn't make it up. Like, behave yourself, boys.
He's going to come to Sunderland, isn't he? Yeah.
Their board didn't give nothing, mate. Didn't give a penny, mate.
Was it? And then you had that. Then you had the guys. He's only just has he just sold up now? Was it Stuart? Someone, wasn't it? The ball fella and that
made a big mistake. Started sitting next to fans, thinking they're his best mate.
Who was the greasy?
No, that sounds like no Jazz.
That was with him. Do you know what I'm on about?
The Newcastle guy, doesn't it?
Ashley, when he first turned up at Newcastle, he did the same thing, didn't he?
Air around there, mate. Mike Ashley went to the same school as my kids down where I live down south, mate. Bucks.
He knows Mike Ashley, don't you?
Yeah, he went to Burnham Grammar. My kids are there. Yeah.
I know Mike Ashley. I used to work for him, Jazz. I used to work for him.
Duke, is he a Tottenham fan?
That much we never got into conversations.
But he's not Newcastle. There's no way he's a Newcastle.
No, he's not a Newcastle fan. But
he shouldn't have done it. He went for
I'm
business.
certainly not a Mike Ashley fan. Let's put it that way. I'm certainly not a Mike Ashley fan.
I've been led to believe he is a Tottenham fan because he's big mates with Paul Kemsley, isn't he?
I don't know, but we're all the Newcastle fans. Sorry for mentioning him. We're probably having nightmares again now.
They've all turned off.
Yeah, but
Mike, there was a rumor, Gatesy. Everyone, there was a rumor that he's about to lend money to Sullivan, and there was a chance because he's always after a bargain. And listen, I know we're a class club. I'm not going to be like just because I support West Ham. I can see it from the business. We are one of the top dogs in the league. I don't care what anyone says. And when the chips are down before obviously what's happened this season, he was sniffing around, mate. And
that's a scary thought. That's a scary thought.
That's not joint ownership.
Joint ownership. I'm going to ride under the table at the fort. I'll see you in a minute. I'm going.
But do you know the thing? What amazes me is because obviously I've only saw him, and I know his main highlights of the night was that Gascoigne was playing for Newcastle when I was watching the highlight. Like it's mad to think at that time that he was playing as well. And
Andy, do you know he was going to sign for West Ham before Venables got in there? There was a chance we were going to grab him.
No way.
Yeah. He's written this. He wanted to sign for West Ham because of the job. See, we say things about John Lard. John Lard's name in the game was huge, to attract big players. That's why I'm at odds, everyone. Why don't we get these people over the line? Ray Houghton, even. All right, John Aldridge, I'm not going to. Why? John could have got anyone in. Liam's like, I would only come back for this man. And look at all the players. They all say the same. I would have died for John. I would have gone under a car for him. I would have gone under a truck for him.
Guys, didn't you? You say about his name then. If you were to say that his name then, you go back a few years ago with obviously Ferguson's name at United, they're there in the regard that Alex Ferguson was held with that class of '92 and everything else. The Skulls, the Butt, the Giggs, the Beckham. That year, those years of success that he had at United, his name was held in such high regard. But what people don't seem to understand is that Lyle was Ferguson before Ferguson became Ferguson. It's the only way I can even get that out there for people to understand is that's John Lyle was Ferguson before Alex became the name that he became.
You're absolutely right. And when John passed away, a lot of people might not know this, that I think it was a European Cup final for Man United, and he went there 2-3 days before. That's a highly regarded Alex. That's why you might not. We sold players if John wanted to. A lot of the time, the players didn't even know anyone coming for them. They would never tap anyone up if John was there. No one dare in the game would go behind
no
John's
one wanted
back.
to go near him. Yeah.
Because all players say that, all right, it's a lovely guy, smart, but he's got a temper on him. We do not want to get on the wrong side of him. So he had a lot of the power, like Parks, he said, Phil Parks. He ran the club from top to the bottom, and a lot of mistakes happened the way he went, and a lot of things went wrong. And what can we do? But yeah, sorry, Andy. We just love this era, mate. We just keep on thinking of things that
we don't need to apologize.
A long time just keeps coming to us.
One other thing to sort of put a little bit more meat on the bones. We've spoke about the high regard that Sir Alex Ferguson, or Alex Ferguson as he was then, had for John Lyall, and vice versa. But I don't know if you guys knew this, but John Lyall, after he left West Ham, he acted as a technical advisor to Terry Venables, who later became the England manager.
Yeah.
So again, he was so highly regarded by, like I say, his peers thought of him so well that they used him, for information and all the rest of it. So John Lyall was a fantastic manager. As I say, I agree though with Jas. I think that there was possibly an element of loyalty is obviously the sort of like of something that we look for it to an extent, but I do think maybe he was over loyal, in my opinion, in the wake of the 85-86 season with certain players. I think certain players had their day and they should have been moved on a lot sooner than they were. And unfortunately, over the next 3 years, we just had this steady decline, which ended up with us going down. But there you go. Just my opinion.
I think if you read John's book, he regrets not going to QPR. I feel their chairman came in for him big time, gave him all the budget. Gregory, I forgot what his name was. He came in
I think
for him.
Jim Gregory, wasn't it?
Something like that. And he came in for him big time, and he literally had 24 hours. He said yes in his mind. He changed his mind again out of loyalty. Then he said no again. But he was given everything, the salary you want, everything you want, and things like that. And but then I feel like Gatesy, a human being, you get stalemate. 75, he came in 74, and we're talking about 87 now, 13, 14 seasons. And not the easiest club to manage, my mate, as you know. There's no money there. Yeah, I'm just trying to be.
By the time he left the club, not just as a manager, but if you go back as a coach, as a player, and as an apprentice, he actually had 34 years of service at the club.
Oh, bloody hell!
It's incredible, isn't it? You get less for murder.
And here we are just being fans, and we struggle with it.
There you go.
Anyway, Andy, tell me about Mirandinha. What's his name?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Mirandinha and chips.
That's the one.
Yeah. Apparently it was a flop, but he did score in this game against us, surprisingly enough. That sort of goes on.
Happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it always happens. Do you know what I hate? Sorry, if we're going on a rant. Do you know when Sky and it's like you play, here's blah, 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 he's coming on. His last goal was 40 games ago, and then they flipping come on and score the winner. What is it with us as a club, or unbeaten runs? Or
because we feel like we need to help other teams out, other players out. He's gone on a run where he hasn't scored for 786 minutes. But we'll just let you walk through our team like Payet did against Borough at the London Stadium. Just come on, walk
Adrian
through,
did in Noble's
please.
Testimonial.
Yeah, or Adrian,
yeah, brilliant.
But no, this game, I wanted to confirm to see whether the season review, whether they actually just purposely removed the highlights or they forgot to add it in. But on this review, they start the highlights from the second half. So I dread to think what the first half was like in this game. So that's saying something, isn't it? So I'm going to say it was a boring 0-0 at half time. And then we scored a really good goal. Robson involved on the right, playing a great 1-2 with Brady. And Tony Cottee done a lovely little flick. And then we just scored a really, really, really good goal. Stuart Robson just got there before the keeper, and it was one of them like little dinks over. And it was a very good goal to take us the lead. And I spoilt it for you, but I'll say it again. Mirandinha
Hey!
he scored actually a really good goal from outside the box. Straight, the goalkeeper didn't even move, so it must have been a very good goal. But this goal, I had to watch this back again. What we scored, Paul Ince's goal. This was just unreal. The link-up play with everyone involved.
20 yards, wasn't it? 25 yards.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Do you know what this reminded me of? I know it wasn't on the half volley, and I've put this in the highlights. The way he hit it. Do you remember Jagielka's goal for Everton against Liverpool?
Yeah.
Remember when it just literally just the way he hit it on the. I know he wasn't on the half volley, but the touch to get it out, and he just smashed it in, and it was just a great goal. And on the celebrations, you see 5 members of the crowd actually run into the middle of the pitch. And you see him to celebrate with the team, and I thought that was a nice touch. It's just a shame that it just proves what a good goal it was and what it was like back then. And I wish I could have experienced a game. And talking of Mr. Ince, from the highlights, what I've said, and it's probably not everyone's cup of tea, but he was my Hammer of the Year for that year, because every game I watched, he was heavily involved, and I don't think he got the credit he deserved because of what he done. But I'm guessing you guys probably saw him play more than what I did. I don't know whether you ever.
Do you think that? Go on, Jas.
Paul Ince. Bloody hell, it's a proper love-hate with him. Where this particular season is where you see him and Billy Bonds together.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? And they're both. Obviously...
one at the end and one at the beginning.
Yeah, Bonds was 41 this year, wasn't he, playing in this season?
It was his last season this year, yeah.
And one carried himself, obviously, millions of miles better than the other. But I've heard the true story of Paul Ince, what happened with Ambrose Mendy through Kaz, Pennant, and other sources. And it's a shame.
We spoke about this, didn't we, Gatesy?
Yeah.
We spoke about what actually happened.
Because he was going on holiday,
Jas,
wasn't it? And it was
shame.
It was the Express newspapers. You had the Express and their sister paper, the Daily Star, that were involved. And because don't forget, this was the day before the internet and all the rest of it. So the deal was that the deal was about 90% done. So they got the photograph of him holding the Man United shirt, and it was under the condition that if the deal didn't happen, then that photograph doesn't see the light of day. And we know what happened next.
And I tell you what, for it, Gatesy, I've seen football a lot like you guys, and we've had Carrick, we've had Defoe, we've had Lampard. For me, Ince is above all of them. Above all of them in terms of a back-to-back centre mid, captain material, goals in him, representing Liverpool, Inter Milan, Manchester United, everyone. But then I can't knock him because I think he's an Ilford boy or not far from there. He's got a bit of chip on his shoulder, but then that makes you usually a better player. The only thing with him, he only respected John Lyle. He was disrespectful to a lot of people. Alvin Martin knocked him out. He mentioned that on a Carlton Colon, sex, drugs, and he done him. You guys just had to do smash him on the chin. Next day, it's good as gold. Uncontrollable, cocky little git. Even Ambrose members calling him up. He's like, what the fuck you want? Oh, you. Just the way Paul was. But I can only speak about on the pitch. And when Kaz told him, Paul, why didn't he tell everyone what really happened? Oh, fuck it. I can't fucking be bothered. I can't. That's just he's like, F him. He goes, you're from that man, it's your club. And like, yeah. So for me, I think, why does it always happen to us? Glenn Johnson, 8 games? We found a right back after Ray Stewart, after years and years. And, God, sometimes I think we're bloody got bad luck around the club.
I remember his game, Paul Ince, when he come back as manager for Blackburn, we won. But the booing, what the stick he got for the whole 90 minutes. I think he didn't even stand. I think he stood up for like 5 minutes of the game.
5 minutes,
sat down because he just couldn't take the stick.
And in the old Trevor Brookings staying lower for that. I had it don't matter now. I had my mate's season ticket, and I was at that game. It was, I think, between me, him, and my brother, we'd sorted out who could go to what games. And I looked at the fixtures before it, and I was like, I want that game. I want that game. And I have to be honest. I was there, and I was one of the ones giving the stick. But since
I would as well. He scored against us. I remember that goal he bundled in the late end. Do you remember he hit his chest and he he went like that, didn't he? Went like that in the North Bank, I think.
But when you think about it though, Jazz and Gatesy, you'll be part of this, and I suppose in a way, Andy, dependent on whether Le Snake ever, whether we begin to understand that as we've got older between the three of us, and we know now the story was, we kind of just go, yeah, all right, fair enough. He didn't deserve half the stick he actually got. He deserved some stick, because at the end of the day, like you say, Jazz, giving it all of that after a goal, you're not making any friends there. But in hindsight, the way the story come out, and now we know what we know, we kind of go, yeah, fair enough, and we kind of look back at the player rather than what, his acrimonious departure.
Yeah, but Duke, you can't. His attitude was, my dad John has gone, I'm not going to play for the club anymore. I mean, what kind of attitude is that then? Oh, John's gone. It happens in life. I don't want to play. He tells Ambrose, get me out of here. I don't want to play. And when he mentioned Man United and Brian Robson, wow, any kid that age.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have your head turned, aren't you? Yeah.
I mean, I was 16, doing my GCSEs. He was 19. And our chairman didn't help himself. He's a pretty knob. He's a pretty idiot anyway. Same idiot got rid of Vince the way he got rid of John Lyall. So,
yeah.
I think it was.
Talking of stick as well. Talking of stick as well, I thought in that player final, Tom Ince was going to crucify John when he scored. I thought he's going to turn this over, and then you can imagine Paul in the crowd like that as well, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, I mean that poor sod. Like we said, I think it was last week or the week before, Andy, when we said about players that come back to the club, or players that come to the club that have had links from, players that we hate. Let's be honest. If Baby Payet allegedly turns out to be a little boy, and in 15, 16, 17 years' time comes back to play for another club and turns up at London Stadium or the Red Bull Arena or wherever it'll be in 17 years' time, can you imagine Baby Payet allegedly being on the receiving end of the stick because it was his bloody fault that our most skillful player in a number of years was forced back to France because
allegedly
he tripped over walking down the road and fell over and put it inside someone. Allegedly.
but no, two things I want to say about
was it on the Lamborghini as well?
It might have been. Yeah.
I saw that training ground. I love that one. Beautiful.
Yeah, but, that was a tasty photo, wasn't it?
Two memories of Paul Ince, that Villa goal, wasn't it? The Villa away end, the Villa against Villa, and the Liverpool 4-1 League Cup, the two. That's
season from this one, isn't it?
So the Liverpool one was like was it 88 League Cup?
Yeah,
the old League
Cup.
Third
88, 89. Yeah.
Next season. That's the one. That's on my list.
Electric. Yeah. That's when
next
club
week.
called. Yeah. Let's talk about a club call. I remember like ringing up, whatever. Anyway, yeah. Those two games, mate. The Villa.
You remember them? The club calls and everything else.
Yes.
we were talking the other week, guys. We were talking about phoning up Capital Gold after the game and doing the old Capital Gold phonings. And
I want something on there. I think I got it here somewhere. I want a video on that. I'll bring in next time.
VHS.
No, I ran Capital Gold up with them. And they gave me the 1989-90 video. Yeah, anyway, it's in the next room. Yeah, they gave me the video. It was all signed. Andrew Dolby, Capital Gold, with Jonathan Pearce when he made his name there.
Pearce.
Didn't you get Bobby Moore's signature on it, did you?
That's what like
working
Talksport. Yeah,
he was working from
the pure London. Bobby Moore's on there. It's a pure London only. That's what I like.
He was working for them when he passed on. Yeah,
I think we need an all London exclusive. We've got 13 clubs, 14. We need an all exclusive.
I think we can probably do it.
No, but then we got people.
We talk a load of shit as it is, don't we? So talk shy.
We got to ask. Look at the channel. Look at the channel now. Look.
Just saying
We don't
about
do
Paul
what we do.
Ince. Saying about Paul Ince, I had a conversation with my dad not so long ago. Now, my dad goes back, to late 60s and through the 70s into the 80s and all the rest of it. So he saw a lot of players. Now, I once asked him, what is your all-time 11? And he sat down and we was in the pub and he was just sort of, going through. And he said, goalkeeper, Phil Parks, blah, blah, blah. And I was shocked when he turned around and said, central mid, Paul Ince. I looked at him and I was like, really? Wow. But he turned around and he said, just take the
complete midfield player.
And I thought, you think my dad's seen a lot of central mids that have played for West Ham, and for him to turn around and say, despite how it all ended, Paul Ince is the one of the best two central mid, because he went 4-4-2. And he said, for him to turn around and say, in all the years he'd been watching West Ham from, when he first started supporting him in, 1964, the FA Cup win, that Paul Ince was one of the two best midfielders he's ever seen in claret and blue.
Wow.
Yeah, who am I to argue?
You probably put Brooking alongside him. And when I did my Hammers X11, I picked Scott Parker and Ian Bishop. Because you can only pick them from my memory. So I couldn't have picked Brookie because I never saw him live. So from my memory, I thought,
this is it, yeah.
Wow.
Carrick was in my Hammers 11. I think he was one of the most underrated English midfielders in the Premier League. Just full stop. I absolutely loved watching him play. He was outstanding.
How many caps has he? How many caps has he got, Dukes, for England? Because I know you have Scholesy.
Carrick was about 30 odd, wasn't it, Gatesy? I think we worked it out before. But again, if he comes through at any other time, he's hitting 100. He's hitting 100 plus if he comes through at any other time in his career. I thought Carrick was just. I think he was outstanding.
Man United fans didn't know how much they missed him until we retired.
No, mate, I'm telling you now, right? For me, honest to God, and Gatesy, you've heard me say this over and over and over again.
Yep.
For me, Paul Scholes is considered one of the best midfielders in the world. Full stop. Zidane was asked what it's like to be the best midfielder in the game, and Zidane allegedly turned around and said, "I don't know. Ask Paul Scholes." For me, Carrick is up there alongside Paul Scholes as a midfield player. The only difference between Carrick and Scholes is that Carrick could tackle.
Yeah, he's a Geordie boy. He's a Geordie boy, isn't he? Geordie boy.
Geordie boy.
Yeah.
How did he end up with us then? How did he end up in our academy? That's weird,
what it was, if I remember rightly, and talking to, listening to Bobby Z's My Hammers 11 with Russ a couple of weeks ago, he actually says that when Zamora was on the books at West Ham in the academy, we had academies scattered all around the country. So Wallsend Boys Club was up in Newcastle, was one of the West Ham academies.
Oh, brilliant.
We had players up there. So then what they do is during the summer, they bring all the academies into London. So, Carrick from up at Wallsend, you'd have any of the ones down from the, the West Country.
Forget that now, mate.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, right. and that's how we ended up with Carrick. Was we had him? We had him on our books up at Wallsend, and he ended up coming down to us. So yeah, but mate, I don't think I've ever seen a better midfielder live.
Both feet was ridiculous, wasn't it?
But if I'm honest with you, and I say it now, and this is going out on Wednesday, so tonight when you hear it in a couple of days' time, I'll say it now, right? Carrick is the best midfielder I've ever seen. Give me a few years, and Declan Rice will be there. Declan Rice has everything in his locker. Everything in his locker.
In answer to your question earlier, Duke, I've just checked. He got 34 England caps.
It's embarrassing. Deserved at least 3 times that.
Listen to this. Well, how much did Alan Devonshire get? 2? 1?
He deserved 100 times that.
I think he got 7, if I remember right. No,
because Bobby Robson wanted to sign him, didn't he? Badly.
Yeah.
And then he smashed his knee up,
Cloughy wanted Brooking. Bobby wanted Dev.
Says a lot about what we had, doesn't it, back then? Says a lot about what we had. Jas, give me your 3 games. Give me your 3 games, Jas.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into any. I'm not going to go into the depth Andy's gone into.
Sorry.
Andy's done a really good job. I ain't going to tell you I ain't going to go into that depth. What the weather was like, or the pitch, or God bless you, Andy. Love ya.
If you told me, I would have done it all for you, and then you could have just said it out.
Right, Duke and Gatesy, give Andy the homework gold badge. Give it to him whenever.
He loves it. Absolutely loves it.
Yeah, my 3 games, mate. For me, like I said,
Sorry.
It's Andy. You've broken Jas.
Every time I put that up.
I ain't seen you for 8 years, Stato. Oh,
love it. If there's people tuning in now, they're thinking, what the fuck are they on about?
Yeah.
Oh,
just a picture of Stato and then
we're here all
few
week.
fits of laughter. Jas is broken. He's crying.
He's still broken.
Oh, right. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. This.
I'm not even editing this out. This is so
no. Oh, wow.
My sides are hurting.
That's all you, Gatesy. This is all you.
It's Andy's fault, telling us the weather, the pitch, the referee, what he had at half time, the sandwich.
He's even got
John, how many sugars John Lars put in his tea?
Mike Dean was reffing in the game as well.
Which way, Andy? Which way was the wind blowing?
What time the sun went down?
No, we're cruel little gits we are. No. Anyway. Oh wow. This is like that cricket commentary, wasn't it, by Johnson? Was it Johnson back in the famous one where they all couldn't stop laughing, the cricket commentary on Radio 5, wasn't it?
Both couldn't get his leg over.
Oh, Brian Johnson, I forgot his name. Oh wow.
Yeah, Johners, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like, they went nuts, didn't they? Jonathan.
Him and Jonathan Agnew, yeah.
My sides are actually hurting, sorry.
Anyway, it's all needed, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
We had a crap 12 months. We need to laugh.
Sorry, Jas.
Yeah, just looking over my notes really before I start. So
he has a go at you, and he's got notes here, Andy. Look, it might not be as in depth, but he's got notes.
Interesting.
I'll just rock up and hope for the best.
Do you know this is all about reminiscing stories that people haven't heard? I love that when I say something and no one's heard about, I thought that's it. Share the knowledge. Story you guys can go out there share. So one story is that when 85-86 season finished, the contracts are up for renewal in terms of bonuses, and you might have heard this, might not. And then Alvin mentions that McAvenny, Cotty, Ward, the young speedos, they wanted a bonus system alongside top 4, top 3, and Alvin being quite the elder and just taking these like, you boys are getting carried away. And in the end, I think McAvenny got what he wanted, and we never got to those heights again. And Martin's like, there you go. You know, they got carried away, the young kind of brigade.
Yeah.
And now we can see in the preceding years that we never got to those heights anyway. And the other thing was like the first game I'm going to pick, and it's kind of it's going to be in November, the 3-2 win against Nottingham Forest at home at Upton Park, and it was famous for one thing. So this fixture was November the 21st, 1987. So I was 13, was I think? Something like that, 13. But what hits me in this season, I don't know if you guys have noticed, the attendances are so poor. It's shocking. I don't know if that's to do with the economy or what's going on in the crowds in terms of a bit of trouble, maybe. And this happened in the 85, 86 as well, where the season starts out 13, 14,000. By the time we played Ipswich in that pivotal game, it reaches 26. Capacity was, 30, 32 maybe. So Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, you're looking at kind of really, really low crowd, 17,000. We win the game kind of 3-2 under Brian Clough, another kind of John Lyle. And another thing about Brian Clough is he didn't respect many people, as you know. John Lyle is the one. And if you YouTube it, when we beat Nottingham, he beat us in 85-86, Johnny Metcalf, that 35-yard free kick. And when the league table is shown, and Cloughie never says kind things to anyone. And this particular interview on BBC One, BBC Sports Night midweek, he goes, I hope he wins it. If anyone wins it, I want John to win it. I want West Ham to win it. And that's respecting the way we played, his name in the game. That's a big thing. You know, Cloughie didn't care. He saw everyone. You know, John Motson, he took a lot of things so that's a big thing. Gives you an example of what he felt. And this game stands out. Even before I started looking into it, I remember the one thing about this game was the Tony Cotti scissor kick, Brazilian scissor kick. It was like my dad even mentioning back, because back then, Gatesy and Dukes, what we used to do was something really cruel. You're going to laugh now. We had no Sky, nothing like that. Sky came in 1990, so the only way you're looking at a score was perhaps teletext, CFAX.
Remember it well.
And my dad's radio, which he kept to himself with his headphones on, sitting there on the sofa, looking at me, and he used to lie a lot. And as a kid, I was really coming. I was like, dad, and dad would do, oh no. I'm like, whoa, dad, and he would constantly torture me. And there's a couple of games I thought we'd lost, and he's like, oh no. It's just typical of him. Maybe I'm a little bit like that as well. And I'll see the result, and I recommend actually, you can't do that to kids. They've got their own phones and everything. But I don't know, Gatesy, if your parents or your uncles were that cool that they would lie. Really?
Yeah. My granddad was exactly the same. Yeah.
That's bad.
I'd come in from the garden when I used to be around my nan and granddad's, and my granddad was a big Geordie, big Newcastle. Born in Newcastle, big Geordie fan. And I remember the year we came second to them in the old league, what was Division 1.
Yeah.
What is now the Championship. We finished runners up to them in the league, and they lost, and we won. And I came in from the garden just as the old, BBC 1, Newcastle 1, Arsenal 2 came on, and I came in from the garden. I was like, "You lost, yeah!" And then West Ham 3, Nottingham Forest 1. I'll be like, "Yeah!" And he went to me, "You still ain't winning the league, though, son. Right?" Fast forward 4 months later, Newcastle go up as champions. We go up as second place. He comes right up to me, and he's there, right? And I love this. My mum loves this. He was there, and he went, "Told you," and then walked off. That was it.
Was that the end of Andy Cole season?
Andy Cole went there.
Andy Cole, the machine. Oh wow, Andy.
Yeah,
Cole,
they were. It was
Robert Lee. Yeah, him and Lee Clark.
Yeah,
Brian Kilcline. Remember him?
Yeah, the Coventry lad
was there with a big beard. He looked like a reject from ZZ Top.
Yeah, Coventry.
The original Alexi Lalas. That's what he was.
Yeah,
for those of you remember. And Andy ain't got a clue who Alexi Lalas.
Andy's like, who?
Andy's had a whole history lesson. He's going to love it. He's going to love it, mate. He's going to love it.
That's it.
When I had a conversation with my old man earlier, he's going to be like, "What the fuck, you know?"
Yeah. I mean, going back to the game, I mean, it was kind of 3-2, but it wasn't kind of a ding dong. I think we raced into a quick kind of 2-0 lead. But what this game I've forgotten about until I watched it recently was Ray Stewart missed a penalty. But it was retaken.
Right.
It was retaken
really?
because it was retaken, and then he put it in the net. So there's not many. There's only two I remember ratio. One was 83-84. We won the first 5 games of that season. Played 5, won 5, 15 points, and we beat Coventry 5-3. And he'd missed, but got the rebound in. But then again, there's not many I remember. That one and then this one I've forgotten about. And it's remembered for the Tony Cottee scissor kick, one of the best goals of the season. And it kind of, like this season, there wasn't many things to shout about or be happy about. And Nottingham Forest are one of the teams that, like Sheffield Wednesday, we could never really do much against. Very well organised. A lot of draws against these type of teams. And 5 goals, especially Upton Park. Tony Cottee 2, Stewart. But Cottee had another 2 chances to get a hat-trick. He got very close to it. Didn't quite happen. Billy Bonds was playing in that game, did really well end-to-end. Incy was kind of in there. If I look at the team lineup for everyone, McAllister in goal. He played every single game that season. Apart from one game, Parksy came in for one game, 2 from the end. You've got Billy Bonds, Paris, Hilton, Martin, Brady, Ward, Dickens, Ince, Cottee, Robson, and that's where your problem lies. You've
All British as well, Jas. That's what we said over the last.
We're very famous for that. I think the 75 FA Cup winning team, the 80 more or less all British, the 80 the last second division team, I believe, to win the cup. A lot of records we've broken. Keenan Strodder on the bench, but the issues are with recruitment, poor centre backs, and obviously not quite in there with the wingers, and you can't play Cottee by himself up front. And those days, don't forget, no one played 1 up front. It was always a 2 up front. And then, like I said, mentioned before, you had people like a lot of good strikers who moved, and that we definitely had the money to buy. And what hurts more, Dukes and Gatesy, was people like QPR, Wimbledon, Norwich were beginning to surpass us. Clubs that we would regard as very much nowhere near our size, especially in clout, fans, history, money. And those clubs, even Charlton, when they came in under Lenny Lawrence a bit later on, they rolled us over quite regularly. And when I look at Brady, Schroeder, McQueen, Hilton, Potts a right back, he struggled for about a couple of seasons before he found his place. Stuart Robson perhaps wasn't the right fit. And another good fact from this team, there was a player called Rice in this game who played for Nottingham Forest. In midfield, Dukes probably remembers
Rice, wasn't it?
Yeah. There was one guy playing Rice in that game. So those are the kind of memories, and the one memory Bonds own Ince together. Two people that if you ever went to war, not bad people.
Who you want?
Not bad. You know when you go for you have your last pint and you go for your Donna meat and chips and it all kicks off in there, and you always got a couple of people there. Wow, can you imagine that?
Who do I need? Yeah,
Bonds will have 2 people at his throat like that, wouldn't
he? Andy, you know a minute ago I said about Alexi Lalas and Brian Kilcline, right?
Yeah.
There's Brian Kilcline. He's certainly not a character you want to take on. Look at him. Look, he looks like...
There's a chili sauce.
And then Alexi Lalas. Now, boys, correct me if I'm wrong, you two. Alexi Lalas ended up, after the 94 World Cup, playing for America. Did he not move to Lazio? He did move to Lazio.
My son's a big Lazio fan.
I don't think he went there, though.
He played for Padova, right? He played for Padova. And the reason I know this, and it goes back to Jazz's one of 2 things when he was at school, one being West Ham, and what was the other thing, Jazz? What was the other thing we used to concentrate on? When we were at school, the 2 things, we had West Ham and Wales.
Panini sticker albums, mate.
There you go. There's an old Panini sticker album for you.
Oh my God, he looks like Brian, doesn't he? Oh, he looks like Brian.
He does. Ooh. And he was one of the things that stuck out for me of USA 94 was he was one of the standout. Him and was it Kobe Jones? Do you remember him? He came
rings
over.
A bell, yeah.
Played for Coventry.
Yeah.
Came over and played the Coventry. He had the dreadlocks, didn't he? Do you remember he had like the cornrow dreadlocks? He was a good player.
Rings the bell because we had that Shaw, the fullback at Coventry, a little bit of dreadlocks, a little bit that way.
Who did we have that was the American?
John Harkes.
John Hart.
Gatesy's on it.
Now, I've just looked. Yes, he did play for Padova, but that was the only team that he played for in.
You forgot. There's another one. The midfielder scored a hat-trick against Man United in the Cup.
Oh, what, Jonathan Spector?
Yeah.
Now, here's a little thing that you might not know about.
I remember that. I was there for that.
If you know this about John Hart,
in
the World Cup in '98, I think it was. It might have been 2002. There was a little bit of controversy involving him. Do you know this story?
No.
Oh, Jonathan Spector?
No, it doesn't ring the
John
bell.
Harkes.
Oh,
John
sorry.
Johnny Harkes.
John Harkes had an affair with one of his teammates' wives.
Oh, John
Eric
Terry.
Winalda. Google it. It was a massive scandal at the time. He basically was knocking off one of his teammates' wives, and it all came out before the World Cup. He was gone out of the squad. See you later.
You know what? I think I remember something about that now.
Google it.
Yes.
It was a big, because apparently at the time, I believe John Harkes was someone that the USA manager who was a guy.
Played at Sheffield Wednesday, didn't he? Sheffield Wednesday.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday, but Derby County as well. He was someone that the then manager, I'm sure it was Steve Sampson of the United States, was like trying to build his World Cup team around. And then it came out that he was knocking off Eric Winalda's missus, and Steve Sampson just went, see you later, you're gone.
See you later and take care.
It was a massive scandal at the time. Have a look. Those of you that are watching that are like into little juicy little tidbits like that, have a look. Eric, it was Eric Winalda, John Harkes. Yeah. So
I used to love Dempsey. Fulham. I used to love him. Dempsey. I thought he was a really good player. Really good
Tim
player.
Howard as well. Tim Howard.
No, didn't go Everton.
Brian
no, who was the one? No,
the goalkeeper Everton. There was a goalkeeper, Brad, wasn't it?
Tim Howard.
Tim Howard and Brad, two goalkeepers.
Brad Friedel.
He was an outfielder.
McBride.
No, he went to Fulham. No,
Landon Donovan.
Landon Donovan. He was a great, again, like Clint Dempsey. I absolutely love Landon Donovan.
He's only on loan though for a few months. Only for a few months.
Yeah, but when I football back then, or championship manager as it was known, Landon Donovan, and who's the young lad? 16.
Aldador.
No, Benfica in Portugal. He was 16 on the 15 on the game. Freddie Adu.
That is the one. But for me, championship managers 97, 98. I didn't leave my home for 4 months, mate. 97, 98. We had Rio. We had 5 goals.
Was the Swedish guy.
You
must remember him, Jazz, wasn't it?
No, it was Savinder Larsen. There was Mark Emmers.
Yes.
Was,
oh my word.
Oh,
memories.
Mark Emmers. Yeah, there's another freak
now.
Yeah, because he used to be. It's an MS-DOS game, but I worked out a way to get it onto the bloody other computers.
I'll tell you what I found the other day for the Xbox was Championship Manager 2000, 2001. And that's, if I remember rightly, is when Messi is like 15 and you can get him, like if you can get him for about $1.5 million in the game. And obviously, you know how good he becomes in real life now. Never becomes that good in the games when you go back. Never becomes that good. It's so disappointing.
Yeah, there's so many good players like back then. That's another. Let's do a whole show on that. Let's do a whole show on chapter because I know a guy on. I know a guy on the Spotify who's brought it all back together in the podcast, and I've been chatting to him up north. He's from Newcastle as well, funny enough. But yeah, let's stop interrupting Andy now. Oh, no, actually, it's my time, isn't it? Oh my god, I forgot. So that was the Forest game
over there.
Yeah, we need a whole because it's fresh content. No one's touched it. We got to do it.
Yes, get on with that.
So that was the first game, and then the second one has to be John Lyle taking 1.5 years to look for because McIvenny had gone. Cotty was playing with Dickens. Mick Harford had said no, and I would have loved him there, battering ram. And even Julian says, and a lot of people say, Mick Harford, who later on went to Wimbledon as a player and coach, there ain't many tougher guys than them. He came from the
He was a beast.
very famous Birmingham team of 85. Duke, who knocked us out the fifth round 3-0 where the horses came on the pitch. And because as a kid, FA Cup meant everything to me. And I was like distraught.
Yeah.
We lost 3-0. We beat Palace the round before. And Julian's like, they had nutters in that. You know, they had Mick Dennis out there and all those kind of players, Roberts, I think. So with that, Mick Harford, Kerry Dixon. I would have loved to have seen Kerry Dixon at West Ham. He was such a great player. It didn't come off. I don't know if we became, I wouldn't say a laughing stock, but we were struggling and maybe he didn't fancy anymore. And then Leroy Rossini, a player again no one had ever heard of. I didn't know who he was when he came. He came from Fulham. His record wasn't that good, apparently. I mean, it's 15 goals in 54 games before joining us. It's not bad and it's not good. It's just kind of in the middle. It's okay.
So
does the job, yeah.
but John reasonably, I mean, most of the time he had a good eye for a player. Hit the ground running. I think he scored in his first 3-4 games. And this was the one where we won 1-0. And what hit me again, Gatesy, Duke, was the attendance 16,000. I'm like, what? 16,000. But I do want to make it clear, it's not just us. When you look at the average, if I looked at Spurs, it'll be 19, 18 at the most. There was something going on around then that we can guess upon. It wasn't just us.
Was it to do with the riots and stuff? Do you remember when I said that we got like the European bans and stuff like that? Do you reckon that was? I know it's European, but do you reckon it was nothing to do with that or anything?
I think it was about the crowd violence. Families afraid to go. I mean, I don't know how many ladies or kids went back then. I don't know how to.
Not many.
I don't think so.
Not many.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the economy. Gatesy is hard to like. Maybe it's difficult for everyone, things like that going on. I mean, certainly there was no games
back then, wasn't it?
There's no games live, mate. If you didn't go, you didn't see sod all. So I don't know what it was.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
just a general thing, mate. Attendance 16,000. Rossini scored. It was kind of the way the goal happened was it was a pass for one of the fullbacks from before the halfway line. So when he got it, as soon as the fullback hit it, the commentator goes, Rossini is asking for it. So Rossini is on his way. And this is the one thing I love about good strikers is movement. Like you go back to Haller and other strikers stand there scratching the, just get on him. Anticipate the, it might not come to you, but he was there. And when he got onto it, he was on his own because he anticipated he wasn't offside. Two centre-backs were a good way behind him. I think there's literally one touch at the most. And the second one was he hit it and just got under the goalkeeper. He ran into the crowd and you couldn't see. Everyone went nuts how important that goal was. Pointed, But the one thing, I'm going to say something controversial. I think McAvenny's mentioned it in the past. Cottee, rightly so, is a selfish git. He wants to be the number one goal scorer. Rightly so, he's the king. But when other strikers come in and they do score, he's not the first one to kind of say, well done, and he takes his time. But I don't know if you take that as a bad thing or a good thing.
I think that's a good thing.
I noticed in a couple of Leroy goals, he was kind of, especially because a couple of games later, we'll speak when he's got more than one, he's got two, and then he's a bit. And McAvenny used to mention if we win 5-0, McAvenny didn't give a shit. He goes, I'm a team player. He says it millions of times. I'm a team player. And even Chelsea game, that 4-1, he said, but if Cottee doesn't score, he's grumpy. He's grumpy. And I don't know how fans want to take that. Yeah.
I think it's a good thing, me personally. I think it just proves that he's a natural goal scorer and that's his job. Like even like some strikers, like you see, like Antonio. If Antonio gets an assist, he's like, I've done from the team. But for me, I should be scoring. That's the way I see it.
Antonio's not a striker.
No, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like I know. We won't go there. We'll be there for another half hour. But you know what? What I mean. A natural goal scorer. But that's the way I see it. Me personally. What about you, Duke? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I want my strikers to score. I mean, it's been such a long time since we had a striker that scores goals that, I've forgotten what it feels like. But yeah, I know what you mean. If I'm spending the money on a striker, and Barcelona did it for Lineker and Mark Hughes back in the era that we're talking about now, they sign strikers to score goals, and if I'm a striker, that's what I want them to do, is put the ball in the back of the net. Don't get me wrong, I'm also of the like Machiavelli says, if I've done a bit for my team, i.e., if I haven't scored today, but I've set up my teammate to score hat trick, so be it. We still score 3 goals. So I kind of find myself on the fence. If you want, screw it. I don't care.
Duke, who's the guy we signed from Arsenal under Pellegrini, the striker?
Lucas Perez.
Perez.
Oh, I don't know what to make of him. The kids say, Dad, he was good. He wasn't given a chance, and I did see him do okay.
Listen, he ended up in the Spanish team of the season last year after he left and went to whatever Spanish club he went to.
Alves. Was it Alves?
Alves, yeah. He ended up in the Spanish league team of the season after he left us. So obviously we weren't using him right. But then we have had it at that, don't we?
I mean, listen, I can understand he was a difficult character sometimes. He would say, like, if he's not in the team, he'd say it the way it is. You just got to control it. I think, like, there's rumours now that the Gomez is going to be coming back to West Ham at cut price because the club's in financial difficulty. 13, 14, 15 million, I don't know. But anyway, just want to know your views. So, yeah, I thought he's half decent. Good finish on him.
No, I liked him. I just don't think we used him right, personally. But then we have, like I say, we have a habit of that. You look at Haller. We signed Haller. I'll tell you what. Let me put this to the three of you quickly. Obviously, I'm conscious of how long this one's going. I like it, though. Let me put this one to you, boys, right?
Yeah.
Remember when Liverpool sold Fernando Torres to Chelsea and they got, a nice bit of cash for it? And they signed someone who'd scored many, many goals for Newcastle in Andy Carroll. And Andy Carroll at Newcastle, let's be honest, Newcastle turned Andy Carroll into the striker he was with the goals he was getting by playing in a style that suited Andy Carroll. Get the ball down the wings, get the balls into the box, get him on his big old 6-foot nugget, right? That's why he scored goals for Newcastle. They took him out of Newcastle, put him in at Liverpool and asked him to play football with his feet, which isn't Andy Carroll's forte, right?
No.
And then everyone moaned that Andy Carroll was shit and, those of us with a footballing brain went, no, it's because they're using him differently to what he's used to. Yet we're the same ones that Q earlier this season, we've taken a striker out of a German league that is used to playing 4-4-2. He's used to having a striker alongside him, has scored a bag full of goals because he has a striker alongside him playing to his strengths. We take said striker and ask him to change everything about his play him in a completely different way than he's used to playing, and we absolutely, as West Ham fans, and rightly or wrongly so, absolutely berate him for it. But we weren't playing to his strengths, in my opinion, and we seem to have done that a lot in the past. And Gatesy, you've said it, Milesy, you mentioned it, and Jas, let's see if you agree. Chicharito, when he was at West Ham, he could have been so much more than he actually was, but we decided to play him as a left winger.
I don't agree on Haller because I'll give you a couple of examples. He was clean through on goal a couple of times, which means it doesn't care what formation you're on. If I give the ball to you, you got the goal in front of you.
Don't expect me to score.
He didn't score. So for me, Haller, no, I don't agree. I don't think he had the heart. He didn't have the bottle. He wasn't a West Ham cultural player. It's in the blood sometimes. For me, he wasn't strong enough for our East End kind of people that we are. I don't know. He wasn't the right fit. In terms of Hernandez, there's a lot of stories about him, but a lot of it is due to off the pitch. A lot of it is about personality, the fit with the fans. With Hernandez, he was a bit of an arrogant personality. Didn't talk to anyone unless you're Spanish. He really thought he's too big for the club. He didn't sign a lot of autographs. A lot of these things matter, Duke. You know, the whole picture.
Oh, yeah. When it comes
it doesn't
to
matter.
it
He was a big, heavy contract. And when he was there, I remember that game at Southampton. I think I was in Portugal, or surrounded by Arsenal, Tottenham, and I kind of cut the chairs went flying. No one say nothing to me, mate. Don't worry about it. Get in there, mate. Loved him. Southampton away, I think it was. Got the equaliser in and loved him. And then it just doesn't. And I think there's a lot of it is they don't adapt to the club. It's like, no, I'm too good to be here. I'm here because the money is good. Pellegrini speaks my language. I think a lot of it's to do with that. And some people are quite humble. They're really happy to be at a club like a lot of the players. Look at Souček and Kufal. It works because they want to be there.
Yeah.
They're humble. They know the name.
We've got no bad egos no more in this team.
Yeah, a lot of it.
That's key right now for me. Like you say there, Andy and Jazz, along with you there.
I would blame Haller, especially when Antonio's out. I said, this is the time, Haller. This is the time.
Antonio never took his opportunity, did he?
No. Completely flat, not even running around, goes missing, looks disinterested, but they go, oh yeah, he always looks like that anyway. I'm like, yeah, I thought you scored for Ajax, you look pretty happy to me, mate. So I'm pretty harsh that way. I think they're just not the right case.
Fair enough.
This is where John Lyle used to check their background, their family, are they gonna, and this is what David does, and they're calling differing Dave, which is wrong. He'd rather get it right than not get anyone over the line, you know. So
listen, if we're gonna call him, you know, listen, people want to call him different Dave because of that. Whereas we're the three of us,
Pellegrini just splashing it, Pellegrini like at the casino, like that, you know, just throwing it in the air.
And
that was it. But the three of us sitting here, obviously, and Andy being educated by the older heads, if you will.
I mean, listen, before the show started,
people now understand though.
And you done your checks on Andy, didn't you? Make sure he fits in with us three. Make sure he's happy.
Like a CRB check. That's what we done. Yeah, it was one of them.
That's my faults anyway. But I understand your faults as well. Yeah.
No. So listen, and that's this is again, Gatesy brings it up quite often when we do the show on a Tuesday night, the live opinion show. It's all about opinions, and everyone has different opinions, and it's nice, like we've said tonight so far, you've got Andy there who wasn't alive for these seasons, but he's enjoying going back and looking at the players we all have fond memories for. You said it yourself there earlier in the video that Liam Brady wasn't the player that he came back for me.
Not for the first division. Not for the first division.
But when we went down, that's when we saw. I remember my first live game. I think was
61,
maybe 89. Was against Swindon. Was against Swindon at Upton Park.
I was there. That was my first.
Fraser Digby split his head open. Fraser Digby.
There was 1-1. They nicked a draw, didn't they?
They did.
1-1. Their centre back scored the goal.
He did.
Yeah.
That was my first game. But Liam Brady was fantastic when I saw the games live.
Jim, do you want some hair? Shall I pass it over?
Casey's going to need some for back here. At least I
got enough, mate. I got enough. This beard I can grow in 3 days. No problem.
You can actually give it to all of us, all three of us.
It's a rum. It's all about the rum, mate. It's all the rum. Anyway,
it's all about the rum.
Duke, I remember that year, Martin Allen. But then I don't want to spoil it. We'll come to that later. Yeah,
we'll come back to that one when we do. So yeah. I just want to point out, just quickly, let me turn my camera on my TV here. Look, Andy, I've got me games on. Look. I've got the review of this. This is the season that we're talking about here. This is the game that I've got on YouTube. I've got it on the big TV next to me. But I'd like to point out, boys, it's a bloody 4.5 hour video. What's that all about? Each review for each season's over 4.5 hours. It's madness.
And they're all mainly home games as well, aren't they?
Yeah, most of them, if not all of them, are home games.
That's usually because we didn't win away from home very often. To be fair,
that is true. Yeah. Although
can we move on to the Chelsea quickly? Chelsea.
Yeah, please do. No,
Yep.
in your own time.
So Chelsea 4-1. I remember this game very clearly. How I didn't know what was going to happen. One of us was going to go down. Can you imagine it? One of us is going to go down. We don't know who. How dare we lose it? What can we do? Rossini's in there. Cotty's in there. Chelsea got some big name players, as we know. So like we can see the team: Steve Potts, Dix, Gale, Hilton. See, these are the weak links. Everyone, Hilton, not for me. Paris in midfield, couple of things like that. But obviously, the team at the end looked much better than what we started off with. Billy Bonds is not there. God bless him. It's not. We love him to bits. So we don't want to see him at the age of 39, 40 playing for us. They had Gordon Jury and Kerry Dixon and all these kind of players.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, good old player. I mean, Tom McAllister pulled off. I have a go at him sometimes, but he pulled off about 2-3 world-class saves in that game when I was watching it back. We won it 4-1. And people forget, even for Andy's benefit, this is when Andy, there was playoffs if you finish really low, like third, fourth from bottom.
Yeah.
You used to play the team at the other end.
Oh, like the Celtic League. No, the Scottish Division, what they do. They do that still, don't they? The Scottish Division, don't they?
Yes, I think Middlesbrough took Chelsea.
Did you go and call it the Celtic League?
Yeah. Well, it is, isn't it?
It's not anymore. It's the Rangers League.
Well, you know what I mean.
Well, Duke was right. I mean, a lot of the interest in Scottish League happened when Souness moved over to Rangers with Graham Roberts and Trevor Stephen, Gary Stevens, and all those boys. But Duke, I've never managed to decide like out the two because obviously religious-wise, they're not involved anyway, being a Sikh, and I'm like, I don't know. It's really difficult. I don't know. I don't go.
As a West Ham fan, I
know we're Rangers. We're normally Rangers, aren't we?
Fans do both. Oh, yeah, I'm a Rangers fan.
Yeah, we are. Normally we're Rangers. Fan, but I love Lazio. Listen, I love Lazio in Rome. Dude,
see, I'm Celtic, but the only reason for me, for my age,
all right, that's it. You're gone. See you later.
Right, bye.
Bye. No, can't have it. Carry on, Andy.
No, the only reason for me was growing up because I used to like them being the underdog in the Champions League when I used to play, and one was for John Hartson.
Mark Hateley, innit? Mark Hateley, them lot.
John Hartson, Petrov, and Henrik Larsson. That was my reason why I liked Celtic when I was like growing up. That's my main reason for them.
I'm surprised because someone along the UK, a lot of people got the Irish back. I got no, obviously, I ain't bloody Irish, no Irish background, nothing like that. So I just like both clubs. That's a tough question. Isn't it?
I like the arguments. I like the arguments you get that if people bring them down here, where do they finish? You can't even compare it, and it's no disrespect to the Scottish League. For the simple fact is, it can't be compared to the Premier League because when you consider how much money is involved in the Premier League with regards to A, owners, B, the television rights, that the fees involved in the television buyouts and the clauses and stuff, it doesn't even exist in Scotland. I know that Sky do have part of the rights for Scottish football, but they don't pay anywhere near as much money. So for me, if you turn around and say bring Rangers down into the Premier League and everything else, and Celtic, you'd start getting a bit more money to those clubs. But for me, they're the West Ham team of the late 90s, early 2000s. They're going to be the yo-yo clubs. They're going to be the clubs that are too good for the Championship and are not going to be good enough to be sitting mid-table in the Premier League. So
no. Duke, I don't agree because if they, like McAvenny said, if they get the money that the Premiership get, they're going to be
it'd take a few years, wouldn't it? It would take a few years if they were to come down.
Dude, the problem is, I think there'll be trouble in the crowds. That's the thing. I reckon they'll be kicking off. That's my worry. Yeah,
think?
Yeah, because they drink. I mean, we drink a lot. They drink a little bit more than us, and more passionate. And They come. A lot of them don't see London in all their life. So Andy, you will not believe a lot of people in Glasgow, they die without seeing London. If you obviously, I'm not that old either, but when you go listen to stories of 1977, England v Scotland at Wembley, the goalposts are gone.
Oh, yeah.
They take the goalposts with them.
Game, yeah.
Everything's gone. So listen, they're very passionate.
Yeah, because I sort of see it though, because it's the same with Cardiff and Swansea. Obviously, they got brought into the Football League, but they obviously had to work their way up, which I don't think.
Home nations, Andy. Home nations is too much trouble. I mean,
yeah,
Wales, England, maybe okay. Ireland, you saw what happened. I don't know. I don't want to go back to those days, but
yeah,
I don't know. You see where I'm coming from? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No, I completely agree.
I wish we were like rugby, mate. I wish we were like rugby.
Saying, I love Gatesy sent us a message. I'm off to go have me grub, and here he is off camera, sitting there eating Chinese. Look, you're
Sorry,
right, Gatesy.
Sorry,
that's not Matt. I'll talk to myself about West Ham all night.
I just don't think the viewers want to see me sort of like chewing away.
Gatesy, what you got by the way? Chinese? What you got?
Chinese. Yeah, I got sweet and sour pork Cantonese style. We got some spring rolls. We got some capital ribs and
wait till my Michelin chef wife cooks for me, mate.
We're a portion of rice short.
Oh,
it's a scandal. My wife
rice baby.
I remember when I ended up with 9 pieces of KFC instead of 10. I remember that time. I went ballistic, mate.
You want the world to burn, don't you? You want the world to burn. Terrible.
All right, get back.
Where's my chicken?
I've got some controversial views, but I can't say them online. Yeah, I've got why it happened, why the taste in KFC has gone down over the years. I can't say at the moment, but there you go. There you go. I've got a very soft spot for Donomy and Duke. Unfortunately, the best Turkish Donomy places around Green Street. They're all around Green Street, 2-3 of them. Amazing places.
I have to have a nose in. I might have to. So, have we done your 3 games now, Jazz, or you still got one more go? Well, where we are, I've lost where we're at now.
No, we did a report of the Chelsea.
We done the 3-2 Forest, 1-0 Watford, and we did the 4-1 Chelsea. Really, and a lot of people get confused. 4-1 Chelsea, which meant Rosinha scored 2, Hilton and Tony Cottee were the other 4 goal scorers.
Loved him,
which meant we survived. But I'm going to go back. I can't stop moaning. I'm going to complain about why didn't we sign Dean Saunders, David Seaman, Tim Flowers, David Hurst, Paul Parker, Mark Wright went from Derby to Southampton. We missed him. Alan Smith, Lee Dixon, Paul Walsh. We could have had him in.
Do you reckon we've still got the same scouts now?
You know what? I think, I don't know whether you know this story, Jazz. I mentioned it before, Andy. I think you might have been there. I'm not sure. But they were talking when Moyes came in after Pellegrini. He asked to see the scouting networks. After Huselos left and everything else, he asked to see, what's he up to bloody now? Look, he's getting his books out. Look at him. Look. He's not even paying. I could be talking about Gatesy's hippos, and he wouldn't even know what's going on. Gatesy don't even know what's going on. Oh, hello, Gatesy. You're back. Hello, son.
Oh, I'm listening.
Yeah, Jazz was just saying.
He's eating with a spring roll in his.
When Moyes, oh, look at that.
I've got that.
That's rare. That's pretty rare. Yeah.
I've got that. Under the stairs. My dad got it. He's got a couple of autographs on it. I think one's Frank Lampard, but I'm not too sure.
No way.
Look at that. Oh, Bonzo.
Tip top.
Stop the club museum. Go round
Jazzy's.
to Jazzy's house.
I haven't read this one. I've got to read this one.
Yes, it's Clive Best. My dad's favourite player, Jazz. My dad's favourite West Ham player.
This one because of history. Yeah, history. I need to watch that. World War One.
Well, I'll tell you what, right? One of my regulars.
You need to get Nigel Khan on your channel. Historian. Love him. Nigel and Canning Town.
One of my mates that comes in the pub, he's a regular. He found this at his mum's house. He sent me a picture of it. I don't know if you can see that.
I used to have that from the library. I nicked it from the library. Hope she's not listening. Yeah, I remember that book.
It's
You're going back to late. I know that. I remember that. John Northcote. Is it John Northcote?
Late 90s.
John Northcote.
It's John Northcote, yep. And Roy Shoesmith.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, he sent it to me. He's going to bring it. It's all the stats, all the way back to 1900 up to 1987.
Wow. The best history. This is the best one.
He loves it, doesn't he?
Oh, wow, look at that one.
That one, when I read it, it goes back to exactly who we were, how we trying to imitate the Arsenal model, how much you respected them. There used to be a castle, Andy, on Upton Park. You know where the old ground was? There used to be a castle that was a nuisance to the board. They go, "Oh, we hate it. It's an eyesore." What done it fucking just explode and fall, and it just fell down anyway after the war. and then it was regarded as a endangered structure, so you have to bring it down. So that there was a castle, Andy. A lot of people might not know that on Green Street there was a castle. There was one.
No.
Yeah, let me find a picture.
See, this is mad.
Yeah, I can rub it on for fucking ages. Anyway, sorry. I don't want to swear.
Joe, this episode has gone longer than both of our first two episodes.
Oh, for the other two to put together, I know. I don't mind.
I know. No, you don't understand. I'm in my element. This is just great. Just talking about all the memories and everything.
Yeah, listening to the three oldies rabbit on about the old days. Is that what you're on about, Andy? Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say much of the old, but if you mentioned it.
Andy, what area are you from again? Where are you from?
I'm from Dagenham, so I'm born in 91.
Dagenham. But Dagenham, see, under Nigel, Dagenham called you're an outsider. If you're not from Canning Town, apparently people are called outsiders, apparently, a lot of them. Yeah. Duke, where you from?
Me, I'm actually born Gillingham way, my friend. I was born in Dartford.
My aunt's from Gillingham. My dad's sister. Oh my God, I know Gillingham so well.
I had trials with Gillingham when I was younger. Yeah.
Oh my, because Steve Bruce is the only one I know who came from there.
Oh really?
Yeah, Steve Bruce was from Gillingham before Norwich, and yeah, my dad's sister's from Gillingham. I know Raynham.
I was down there having trials when I was 14, 15 years old. Yeah.
Raynham. Obviously played them in the cup this year. I know all that area all up there. Wow, Gillingham.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, when it came out, I was like, oh no, at the Priestfield. Awful stadium when it rains.
I'm on church now. I've moved up in the world.
Hornchurch is nice. I've got a cousin, Hornchurch. I heard Goodyear Park's nice, Hornchurch. Yeah. Very nice up there, mate.
Yeah, I live literally like 5 minutes away from Russ.
Yeah, Russ. Little, make sure don't give him any more.
You back, Gatesy?
It's got something on your chin.
I was just saying, can you turn the camera off? It looked better. It looked better with the West Ham logo on it. Do you just want to turn it off? That'd be great. Gatesy, give us your 3 games then. And if you can do it inside 12 minutes and we can make it 2 hours, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
No pressure then, no?
No pressure. Go.
Okay.
Finish.
Well, excuse me. Right. Okay. So my first game is the Norwich 2-0. So just to bring up the old team sheet there. Hang on. Let me turn that off so you can see at the bottom.
Just watch that on here. I've literally just watched that over here. That's the game that's just gone off.
So I'll show the program to help. I'll show the program. I've got it here.
I think I've got that on one of the tiles. So the starting lineup for West Ham was McAllister in goal. The defence was Martin, Stewart, Strodder and McQueen. Midfield was Brady, Ince, Robson, Ward, and the front two was Cotty and McAvenny. The goal scorers both goals were scored by Tony Cotty. Now, let me just get rid of that.
Here goes Star.
Hang on. Don't you start. So basically the goal scoring sequence went West Ham went 1-0 up. It was 0-0 at half time. West Ham's first goal came with Ray Stewart He hoisted a ball with his left. He used his wrong foot, as they called it.
His standing leg.
Hoisted a ball with his left towards Mark Ward. He ran with the ball into the Norwich box. He played the ball with his right. He cut it back. Hit the Norwich defender, but with the loose ball, Tony Cottee makes a darting run towards the near post, and he gets the ball, and he from a tight angle manages to fire it across Brian Gunn, who was in the Norwich goal. That was So, and that was put West Ham a goal to the good. Later in the second half, Alvin Martin was on a marauding run into midfield. The ball was pinging around, and then McAvenny intercepted it, played the ball out to Ray Stewart, who was coming up from right back, up the right wing. He then played a lofted ball into the penalty box. Tony Cottee was making a move. He'd lost his marker, and he got a cushioned volley onto the ball, which then went past Brian Gunn to make it 2-0 in the 65th minute. Now, as far as that particular match is concerned, in that season, that was one of only 2 league matches that season which we won by more than a 1-goal margin. Now, that's, I think, quite a sad indictment. I think that probably tells you why that season we struggled.
It was the beginning of the end, really, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. So my second choice was also the 3-2 Forest win.
My one. Yeah.
So the team there was McAllister in goal, Stewart, Hilton, Bonds, Dickens, Ince, Keane, Paris, Robson, Ward, and Cottee. So that was your starting lineup. It appears that Forest didn't have a team out according to this, and yet somehow we only managed to win it 3-2. Really, really bizarre. But so the again, scoring sequence real quick. Kevin Keane played a ball forwards. It was intercepted by the Forest defender, but the loose ball was retrieved back by Keane. He then played an arcing cross into the box. Cottee got his head on it.
Andy, pay attention.
Header.
I am.
He's switched off. He's like Gates. He's just rambling on now. I'm just going to play.
I won't get one more, and I'm in detention.
So it was a looping header that went past Steve Sutton and put West Ham 1-0 up. Later on, Neil Webb got his left foot inside the box past McAllister to make it 1-1 equaliser. That was how it stayed to half time. In the second half, Tony Cottee was brought down in the box by the defender Foster. A penalty was given. Ray Stewart took the penalty, but Steve Sutton saved it. A very rare event, which Jas touched on earlier, with a save low to his left. However, it was retaken because the linesman flagged because he had spotted encroachment. So Ray Stewart then gets the ball again, and at this point, he's trying to reposition the ball. Steve Sutton comes off the line because back in those days, obviously, the pitches weren't the perfectly manicured sort of pitches that they are now. It was a little bit ready. Yeah. So they couldn't see where the penalty spot was. So there was a little bit of a toing and froing about where the penalty spot actually was. They eventually decided on where the penalty spot should have been. Ray Stewart obviously retook the penalty. And obviously, when you've just had a penalty saved by the goalkeeper, it becomes a little bit of a battle of nerves, doesn't it? Because you're like, well, do I put it in the same place? Do I change? There's that little element of doubt. However, Ray Stewart put it in exactly the same place, but a little bit further away.
He went the same way, didn't he, Gatesy? The goalkeeper went the same way. Again, Sutton was a half decent goalkeeper. We all know that.
No, he was an excellent goalkeeper. I remember him, Steve Sutton. So again, went to Sutton's left. This time it went in the back of the net to make it 2-1 to West Ham. Then to make it 3-1, it was Robson. Stuart Robson played a ball to Ward, who was on the right wing. He played a powerful cross across the box, and on the back post, as Jas said earlier, there was Tony Cottee. He goes up, he goes horizontal, and hits it with a scissor volley with his right foot, and it
Wow.
just flies past Steve Sutton, who's trying to keep it out, but was nowhere near it. He wasn't even in the same postcode. You know, it was ridiculous. 3-1, and you're thinking this should be, 3 points, but it was made a little bit interesting because there was a ball played in from the Forest left, and Nigel Clough, the son of the manager Brian, got to it and made it 3-2. So it was a little bit of a nervy finish, but West Ham held out for the 3-2 victory. Again, little piece of information for you is that was one of only 2 league matches that season in which we scored more than 2 goals. Again, that's rather a sad indictment.
Really, it's a depressing season. Yeah, really, until Rosinha signed in that game. Yeah, for me.
Yeah. Just going back to the Norwich game, I do apologise. I don't know if I put it up earlier, but that was the programme for the Norwich game. So there you go for anyone that.
Then the players, Gatesy. There it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out. Is that the guy in the Luton shirt? I'm trying to remember.
Ricky Hill.
That was him.
Ricky Hill. He'd been on the radio last week, Ricky Hill. Yeah. Luton.
I remember Ricky Hill and Nate, because this was this is season 87-88. So this is the season that Luton won
David Pleat.
the Little Woods Cup.
I think they lost in the final to Arsenal.
No, they beat Arsenal. They beat Arsenal. The following season,
this was the year. This was the year that they allowed. This was the first year they allowed the away fans back.
Well, I'll tell you what.
After the
something between Luton and West Ham,
and that's why they were allowed back in. That's why they were allowed back into the League Cup, and if they won it this year because they allowed fans back in.
I used to hate plastic pitches. I had a letter printed in the West Ham programme, but that's going to come to the following season. I don't want to say anything. Yeah.
So. Going on to the last game, again, this has been touched on before. This is the 4-1 victory against Chelsea. So again, you look at the team there. There's McAllister, there's Potts, Julian Dix, Gale, Hilton, Dickens, Parrish, Robson, Ward, Cotty, and Rosinha. Chelsea, well, we don't really care who they had in their lineup.
Andy, one of your favourite players. Was playing for Chelsea in that game.
John Bumstead.
Yeah. Andy had a good old giggle at that name last week, didn't you? He absolutely loved it.
And another one to mention, Steve Clark.
Well,
another thing to mention, 80 pence for the programme. Interesting, isn't it? 80 pence.
Crazy.
80 pence.
Right, hang on, Gatesy. Gatesy, bring that back up.
Yep.
That's Kilcline.
I think it might be.
That's Kilcline.
It is.
That's Kilcline behind, and is that Gary Strudder?
No, that's
Alan Dickens in the background.
Oh, that's Alan Dickens.
In the background, you got Julian Dix and
Julian Dix.
I don't know about the other one. Is that Potsy?
I'll tell you what, they have Ben Schultz right
Could
up.
be Kevin. Is it Kevin King?
Is it Potsy? Could be King. Keen's got those legs, isn't he? Little bendy ones, isn't he? I don't know if it's him.
I'll tell you what,
It could be
them
King. A
Schultz
lot more
right up
head.
Anymore on Dickens. You're going to see his Dickens. I tell you, fucking hell, them Schultz.
I saw Dickens. Yeah, I saw Dickens once over. Yeah, I remember him, a black cab driver. Yeah, bloody hell.
He is, yeah.
He had no confidence in him. He never used to knock on the door and say, John, can I have like £10 a week? You didn't have the confidence in him. Tony used to go in there and say, give me that, like Frankie, give me something. It's a bit naughty. Like, you ever go to the players now saying you got the back down, it was completely the other way around. The managers earn much more money than the player. Cloughie, naughty boy, when he all kicked off in like when he shouldn't have between Forest and Liverpool, he used to go to the secretary and say, give me 5,000 bundle of the semi-final FA Cup final. So and I go, yeah. What do you want, Brian? And then they used to find out when trouble kicked off between those years. A lot of tickers are Cloughie, naughty boy, but he's so powerful. No one said nothing. Naughty boy. Yeah, it's Cloughie did it.
But you told me that a couple of weeks ago, James. I think when we had on the Hammers the tier list, wasn't it? I think you mentioned something about that before. Yeah.
Yeah, considering the season, I think we've made it very entertaining, to be perfectly honest. For a Disney season,
this video was better than the season.
Do you know what? I even speak to like Nigel Khan and like Fame from the podcast with all the other lot. It's like, yeah, I was at the 80 final. I was at the 81. Like, you're so lucky, mate. Oh my god.
Yeah.
When I meet people at a sports club and people like that, and they've been through like all the, I'm like so jealous. I'm like, wow. My dad, he had a famous story. It's not really something to be proud of, but when we got to the 1981 League Cup final after beating Coventry, my dad was a driving instructor and he got pissed. He got caught drink driving. The police followed him home.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, lost his license for 2 years. Worked in a factory with my uncle. So my dad's obviously he's a mid-70s all season ticket holder at West Ham because we all West London kind of family anyway. Just near Heathrow Airport and follow West Ham because my dad's like me. He would say West Ham. You see where the front door is. I'm the same. Listen, I am the same. So I didn't want to do anything different. I love my club to bits. I got Liverpool cousins. I want to kill them half the time. I got some WhatsApp because what's happening with Tottenham recently? WhatsApp getting a bit cocky under Poch. The one of them I was gonna like, let's go now, mate. I'm gonna meet in half an hour. Let's just go 1-1. And then he kind of back. No, I'm telling you what, I can't stand Tottenham. I can't stand Liverpool, and they ended up in a final together. My bloody luck. I'm the only West Ham bloody fan in the WhatsApp group. I had to stand my ground, man, but they know who I am. Like, don't mess with me, mate. Get out of here. I don't understand them. But I'm a West London boy. But for my kids, like, especially because that was the Chelsea Mourinho time. But
yeah.
Listen. I'll show you pictures outside of the John Lyle Gates, my little ones. Like, no, we're West Ham through and through, mate. You know, Man United. Just gonna make you jealous again. The last game, Upton Park. I didn't go out there looking for it, but through the ballot, I had 5 tickets for the Man United West Ham game.
Oh, nice.
We sat West Ham upper. Me and my dad. We're West Ham upper all the way. I think it's the last 1 or 2 rows from the end, and I think Sacco's family were there, and a couple of the others, and all. And one of them, you could tell, oh, you got your Man United badge on your little phone, and like, you want to do something, you just, what can you do? West Ham Liverpool OS Stadium. There's a guy in front of me. We all season ticket holders. I exactly knew who he was. You see them at Arsenal. You know when we're home to Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, the locals, they all turn up. You know who they are. I'm like, we took the mick out of him, and he just didn't know what to do. I think he left halfway. The stewards are the big problem. I've got no issue. I've got a couple of issues with the ground. It's the long walk. Doesn't feel like home yet. But when we win, listen, it rocks. But
without a doubt.
But it's the stewards. That's a big thing. A lot of away fans, like Tottenham, the guy got slapped out the ground. You know, 2 people grabbed him. I'm proud of it.
You shouldn't be able to have the fans mixing
but Duke,
we're
not Fulham, we're not Watford, we are West Ham. We have
exactly.
You know, all right, a lot of the reputation is a bit wrong, but we're proud of, like, if you're gonna have the audacity to sit in time, that's not good, mate. You know, I will never do it. I would never do it. I've been given tickets to go to. Okay, I'm not going to do it. I went to Liverpool where we beat them 3-0, first away game. They go, Jas, you brought us good luck. 1962, you won 3-0. Lanzini scored. Sacco, me, my son, first time. And they go, oh, Jas, make sure you don't wear your shirt. I go, I'm going to wear my home shirt. I don't care. I'm going to wear it. I drove to Liverpool. 4 roads down. No, I love my club. I wear my shirt. What are you going to say?
I'm going to watch. I'm wearing the shirt. Yeah, exactly.
Liverpool fans are very nice, knowledgeable. A lot of them come up to me, shook my hand. A lot of channels are just starting out there. We went to the pub, the nearest pub to the ground, and they were Asian fans, Liverpool fans. They go, do you want a pint? That left the pub. Sod you, mate. And I'm so proud that our team is. Hopefully, we get what we really, really need to require. I believe we're up there in the top 6 with the Villas. We're a huge club. I know we are. And what upsets me, Duke, is when even Green Street, between you and the people here. I remember one match we were going to play at 3:00. We went to a snooker club on Green Street, and the local fans were watching Arsenal Man United with their shirts on Green Street. you know.
No.
And they weren't the locals. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but no, I can't. A London people supporting Liverpool Man United. I'm sorry, mate.
Oh, no, that's wrong.
That winds me up.
Mate, you're right. I'll make you 100% right. Andy, I can see my reflection in your window behind you. I'll give a wave. Look, I can see you in that window down there. I can see me. Very unnerving.
Andy, tell me about yourself. Like, I've seen you West Ham's TV, so really nice to meet you and all that. Like, you enjoyed it and all that. You're doing well, mate. You all right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. Though, like I said, I was a bit because of like the stick of what Dom. I've been West Ham fan.
Don't worry about that.
No. This is what I was going to say. So I watched West Ham fan TV even when they were at Boleyn. I loved it, but I just didn't have the confidence to go up and do the fan cam.
Come to me. You do better. Yeah, don't worry about that.
No, but do you know what I mean? Because of like all the trolling and stuff like that. But then during lockdown, I got the confidence. Like I said, I don't know if I know you gents now. What? Probably about 2.5, 3 months.
It's been about 3 months that we've been doing this. Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
But now, Andy, you're sensible. I'll take you under my wing, even with all due Gatesy. When you come next to, I'll take you to all the West Ham Wave. I've got a VIP table there. You can get your things signed, meet all the ex-players, skip the queue, pizza, beer. Everything's on me. We go to the boat if you want. Meet what do they call the other up in there? Gonzo, Gio lot, West Ham. Yeah. Don't worry about it. I look after you and all that. Do you go regularly? Are you season ticket holder?
Yeah, I'm a season ticket holder at home, and I'll probably go to probably about 5 away games a year. I don't.
Whereabouts do you sit?
I sit right next to the away fan, so I'm right behind the goal on the top tier. I like it there. I like giving it to the away fans as well. I like a bit.
If you want my granddad's turban to stop anything hitting you, let me know and I'll pass it to you.
But do you know what? It's not so much
that... East End banter, isn't it? East End banter, mate. That's what it's all about.
But the thing is, what I love though is, like you said, it's the away fans. Don't get me wrong, our home records are not great, but it's just the banter. It's just the banter what you get.
You go to do my grandfather served the British Army as a Sikh soldier. I used to run around in his turban as a little kid like that. I didn't know how to. I would never know how to wear it, what to do with it. Used to do all these. When you wear it, it's like you used to do all these little things with it. I don't know what the hell he's doing. But anyway, that's
isn't it? Yeah.
love it, mate.
Jazz,
love it.
Jazz, I really appreciate you. Look, I've had this has been great. Like just your memories and getting other people's opinions. So yeah, mate, I really do appreciate it.
When I found out you'd done the 85, 86 without me, I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. But I'll
tell you what we'll do one night, right? Because what I want to do going forward as well is I want a guest to be able to come on and pick their favourite season of being a West Ham supporter. Doesn't matter what year, doesn't matter whether we've got to do it coming forward, whether we've already covered it in the past. If your favourite is the 85, 86, you want to do that, give us a shout.
I'll tell you what, what it is, I've got to be honest. I was only 11 or 12, so do you know something? It's weird, isn't it? It could be this one. It could be this. I don't know. I'm really, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it could be this one.
We've
worked it out. We've worked it out. We're going to go every season, including to this one. It's going to finish like mid-December. We do a show a week, so we've looked how many
a show a week until we finish.
all I know, the first time we all go back and we score, because I'm used to knocking the people. You know, people sit next to me. I don't mean it. But Dad's like, Dad, what are you doing? And what I do, even if I usually know them, but if I don't, I'm not. That one's gone, and I grab both of them. I can't help it. And Dad's like, oh my God, Dad, what you done? You just knocked the guy out of the way. And I'm like, no. When we score, you got to show it, mate.
Yeah, they should be expecting it, in all fairness.
You know, these days, Gatesy, some people are a little bit political. I don't know. No, I mean a little bit soft, not political.
No, I know what you're saying.
I know all the guys, and you're gonna laugh now. One of them calls me Samosa anyway because I bring a lot of samosas around. My season ticket holders around me, so I usually bring like the chutneys, like
Basically, you bribe them. That's
all
what
the
you're saying,
time,
right?
Well, they're a bit naughty though, so sometimes, where are they? Jazz, where are they? Bloody hell, mate. Even the kids take the piss, like, you know. But then he doesn't know that guy that I called him Samosas. Like, got his number, needs to chat to him.
He's in your phone.
Most of the time. I sit in the Billy Bond stand on the halfway line, right. I managed to get a little bit further up a little bit with a couple of tickets. So, yeah,
the first season I was in the Billy Bonds, but I was the last row at the back. I had the perfect view, but fuck me, that's a long way up. That was a good fight. That's a good 5 minutes.
I'm in row 99, but I've gone further, not now. But yeah, it's a lot, mate. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Time you have a drink and a piss, you fucking got to go back again.
Yeah.
Halfway through the second half.
Yeah.
But from that year, everyone, I mean, it's not happy times. It was good reminiscing and thinking about your school and your love. It wasn't happy. I mean, and I think
time, was it?
And you, Gatesy, Andy, I think looking back, I really am upset with John. I'm upset with the board. I think they let the fans down. We really had a good crop of players. Even Frank, Phil says, why didn't we just buy 3? And the key that we keep saying, like David is doing, buy someone who's better than the 11. And David keeps saying that. I don't want a squad player. I don't want 8 million, 9 million, Sullivan, what you're giving me. Yeah. I want 35 million who goes straight in the team. Yeah. And if you don't give me that, I'm not going to buy anyone. And I really think, Dave, I mean, that's a great attitude, you know? And you remember the way we wasted the 18 Rio money by buying, oh my God. I mean, we needed Southgate.
Rigobert Song.
We needed Southgate that time.
Hey, stop bringing up TT. Right? I told you. I had his name on the back of my shirt. I had TT Kamara on the back of my shirt. Yeah,
Abba Diawara. Do you remember him?
I did.
I had
TT Kamara on the back of my shirt.
I think Christian Daly's the only one. Christian Daly's the only one that can.
It's the love of my life.
Stephen Minto, forget that. He's a great host. He's a good host. Good gentleman.
I'm on any here too, to be honest with you.
Southgate is the one. Gatesy, Southgate is the one we need, isn't it? Southgate, 6 million, Villa captain. He would have come in. Job done.
He would have been amazing.
It wouldn't have been bad. Wouldn't have been bad. Am I going to do my last game?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're such bullies, aren't we? We just like Gatesy's platform. We turn into the Indian samosa stall. What the hell?
He pissed off when they had his Chinese, Andy. I mean, I don't, you know.
You didn't offer us anything. All I wanted was one spring roll. I didn't even get a spring roll.
They don't want to see me chewing. You know, like a cow.
Andy's waiting for a spare rib. He didn't even get a spare
I've still got 12 weeks before we do one of my favourite seasons. I'm not going to lie to you.
Prawn cracker?
12 years.
No, you're talking, mate. And
Gatesy,
go ahead. Gatesy, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so starts off.
What was the weather like?
It pissing down. No, it wasn't. No, it was. I think it was about 15 degrees.
The wind was blowing that way. No, I'm not going to interrupt. No.
Yeah. The referee was skipping gaily across the pitch.
I think Andy met the referee. You know that today, about 2:00.
Yeah. So we start off. Mark Ward cuts in from the right wing into central mid. He plays the ball forward. Alan Dickens flicks it on with his head. Rossinia wins the loose ball. He goes into the penalty box and he puts a right foot shot past Kevin Hitchcock to make it 1-0 on the 16th minute. Following on from that,
what?
Yes. Well, Kevin Hitchcock later became our goalkeeper.
He's a West Ham lad.
He's from Custom House. Yeah, he's East End
Custom House.
Custom ass. For the second goal, it was a ball played behind the defender. Leroy Rossinia broke the offside trap with his right foot. He's in the penalty box with his right foot. He puts it past Kevin Hitchcock to make it 2-0 to West Ham on the 36th minute. That's how it stayed. Whatever. That's how it stayed till half time. West Ham's third goal was from a corner. Tony Gale met it with his head at the near post. He flicked it on to Rossinia. His header was blocked on the line. It fell to the legend that is Paul Hilton, who swept the loose ball.
Oh my God!
I knew that was going to happen. Who swept it past Kevin Hitchcock to make it 3-0. You're thinking it's home and hosed. However, from a corner, Colin West, who I believe later went to our East London rivals, Leyton Orient. Well, they're not really rivals, are they? But our East London neighbours, let's say that. Made it 3-1, and you're thinking, oh, hello. But then to make it safe, there was a cross from Mark Ward on the right. Cotty on the back stick met it with a header to make it 4-1, and that was the game safe. Now, a little thing for you about that game. It was the only match. It was the only match in all competitions that season which we won by a 3-goal margin. It was the only match in all competitions that season in which we scored 4 goals. And that goal from Tony Cotty was his last goal as a West Ham player before his transfer to Everton for £2.2 million, which was a national record, and it was our final home league match of the season. Obviously, Tony.
Listen, did you not hear Jay say earlier he was his favourite player? You've just upset him now and brought all their memories flooding back.
McElwainey's my favourite because of the fame. I used to go out and Frank as a film star, like, you know, blonde. You could spot him. Like, he never took me to any clubs. I was too young. But when I saw the hard work of Tony, yeah. I mean, Tony's good. Sorry, Gatesy, carry on. Sorry.
No, that's cool. And just to sort of like bring it up to the people at home, because obviously we're pretty much towards the end now. That was our league.
Look at the draws. Oh, my God. Wow.
Look at that, though. Out of 40 games, we won 9. Not even double figures.
That's bad.
Drew 15, lost 6, scored 40 goals. So we scored a goal a game, but we conceded 52.
We didn't concede it. Oh, what? We didn't score, but we didn't concede a lot either. That's weird.
Mad. So we've got 42 points. There was 21 teams. We finished 16th. If you want our cup exploits, such as they were, we went out of the FA Cup in the fourth round.
I remember that
3-1 to Queen's
Park.
Gatesy,
that's where the horses came on. It was delayed. It was a delayed kickoff.
Yep.
It was a 5:30 kickoff, I think. Yeah, John Lyle to come on with Bald Eagle, wasn't it? What's his name? Smith. Yeah.
Oh, Jim Smith. Yeah,
he came on. Yeah. Barnsley. That's the embarrassing one I was watching before I came.
Oh yeah, second round in the League Cup. It was a 2-legger.
We were 2-0 up. We were 2-0 up.
Yep, 2-0. 0-0 after the first leg at Oakwell. Bring it back to Upton Park. I'm not being funny. I mean, what were Barnsley at the time? Tier 2, Tier 3 team, something like that.
I think Duke's Honeyman was in Barnsley, if I remember.
Possibly. Quite possibly. But, you know, and we went out, and I mean, yeah, that was probably Barnsley's famous told you what was to come maybe 12 months or plus down the line when we eventually slid down the
See, that's the thing. Yeah, 3 years suffering. Then John goes, and then like, why did we do that? Why did we?
Yeah,
50-50 and everything. I think we should have kept him on as to bring someone in. Like, the thing with Billy is, Duke. The thing with Billy, he's not clever enough, Billy Bonds, to be a manager. He can. Yeah, he'll take bullets for you, but.
You noticed that when he was there with Redknapp and the way that he was kind of the way he was kind of managed out of the club, if you will. He didn't see it coming.
I was there when Billy first came home to Blackburn as a 15, 16-year-old kid. When he comes onto that pitch and he does that, and he goes, "Oh, my bloody ends on my hair, on my oh." I couldn't believe it, you know. Like my dad knows a bit more. From more like, whoa! When he came onto that pitch and Blackburn, I think it's 0-0. We battered them that game. Don't know why we didn't win that. And then it goes back to what was I saying, Duke? I forgot now. What was I saying?
Billy Bonds not being clever enough.
Not being clever enough, and
I'm on it.
But Harry being too clever for his own good. So what do? I think. We could do another show. I'm not going to say. I have a lot to say about Lou Macari, but Gatesy, we do it for when we get to that stage. I have a lot to say about him. I have a lot to say about Lou, but yeah, I'm not going to give the game away. Yeah.
Cover it in another episode, people.
We certainly will. I look forward to it. Gatesy, do your thing.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So if you've made it this far, God help you. No, seriously.
2 hours and 19 minutes.
Thanks for listening. We hope that it's been entertaining. We hope that it's been informative. You've had a bit of a laugh as well. At us, with us, whatever your choice is. However, at this point, this is where the laughter, I'm afraid, has to stop. This is quite serious. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is about Isla Caton. She is a 6-year-old girl and she is suffering with neuroblastoma. This is a cancer that is really aggressive. It tends to afflict children in the main, and there's no treatment for this in this country on the NHS, ladies and gentlemen. So they can't rock up at their local hospital, get the treatment that this little girl needs to make her well. That's not happening. So they've got to take her wherever it is in the world that she can get the treatment to save her life. It really is as stark as that. They've got to pay for the treatment. They've got to pay for flights to and from wherever they're going around the world. They've got to pay for their living costs when they're there. They've got to pay for their bills that are still coming in the UK. So I appreciate that we've all had a tough time this last 12 months, but you magnify that by a couple of 100,000 and you're probably somewhere in where this family is in right now. They need us. They need our help. You've got a PayPal page. You have a Just Giving page in front of you. I'm asking you to dig deep. I'm asking you to be generous. Put yourself in the position of this family and try and empathize and do the right thing. I don't really care if you're a West Ham fan. I don't care if you're even a football fan. If you're a decent human being with a family and you can empathize with this family's plight, I'm asking you to make a donation, whether it's big or small, even if it's £1, whatever you can put into the tin, guys, will make a difference. I hope and pray. If you can't, thank you very much for listening, but do me a favor, take this message and give it to your friends, give it to your family, give it to your work contacts. There may be someone there that can put into the tin on your behalf. We need to keep the momentum going. It is no exaggeration for me to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, time is of the essence. Every single day that goes past where this young girl hasn't got the treatment to save her life, there is more odds getting stacked against her. That's the truth. Now, you know, I hope you can see your way clear to helping, and I thank you very much indeed for your attention.
Well said, Gatesy. Well said. Listen, guys, that's us. We've come to the end. I've really enjoyed this one. It's gone on significantly longer.
I told you, Duke. Listen, we could have. Listen, I've got capacity to go in another 7 hours. Watch more videos because I love West Ham. It's my life. I love it. I love it, mate.
No, Jase, thank you so much for coming on. I mean, you are you're such a passionate guy when it comes to about West Ham. You know, we went through the tier list and everything else, and we got to talk to you then, and just having the conversations and stuff. And you can tell that you're one of those characters. What I like to call one of the old school fans that, you know, a bit like me and Gatesy. Miles has got a bit of a way to go yet, but we've kind of been there through what were the tough times and significant amount of tough times. You know, like I say, the late 80s, the 90s, the Bond scheme. You know, those kind of.
I call us. We're special. I always say special. Like I'm from West London, full of Liverpool, Man U. And I used to ask like my cousin, like, yeah, who's your goalkeeper? Who are you playing? Oh, I don't know. Oh, what?
Yeah, we all went to school with ones like that, buddy. We really did. But no, thank you for coming on, Andy.
Thank you.
Your baby. How do you think it's going? 3 episodes in.
Andy's found 3 security guards. Is that me now?
Yeah, Jas, you can come on this show anytime you want, because your knowledge and, like you said, it's just different stories, and you're literally whenever you want to come on and do a show, you can. I need to get a wig. I'm going to get a wig.
Wig and a floral dressing gown. That's what you've got to get.
Someone told me once. I go. I used to like this quiz, and I go, give me like, you go West Ham. Give me any questions like, oh, West Ham for Liverpool 1, someone scored an own goal. I go, yeah, Gary Strother, bang in there. Like, give me anything you want. But and listen, love West Ham, love you boys. Hopefully, the channel grows and grows, and it's our passion.
Well, we're getting there,
Passion,
slowly but
passion,
surely.
passion. Look at those
But surely.
channels. Tottenham. What do Tottenham Arsenal channels do? They look at our channels.
They
When
whine
we
and
win,
whinge is what they
They
do.
look at our because we're full of passion. The other guys are like, oh, all right, we got one or two, like, but no, a lot of us have got a lot of knowledge, and I think we're a respected club in the whole world. You'll meet a West Ham fan there. I went to Tenerife from Hammers. I went to Tenerife and I said,
yes.
I got pictures. I'll share them to you after the thing. I met the guy and I could tell he's connected in the back of good old days. Like, Jas, I got all the doubles there for you, mate. Two of my boys are with me. That's what we are. We are a very special family, and
there it is. We are.
I'd rather be what we are than the commercial Liverpool or Man United in Philippines and Thailand. And have you ever been to a match?
But like you said though, yeah, like a Southampton fan, I bet they've probably only got like 2 or 3 fan channels. And what do they talk? What can they talk? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many.
I actually like Southampton.
No,
I think they're a nice little club, aren't they? I like them.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, Liverpool, Man United. I can't stand them. Yeah, Tottenham.
This is why we will continue to do what
those
we do.
three: Liverpool, Man United, Tottenham, Chelsea. I used to hate them a lot at school because I'm from West London, and now I'm like, I don't know what to do with Chelsea. Like, what should I do with them? But yeah, those 4 anyway. Yeah.
I don't care about Chelsea, to be honest with you. It's all about us.
We hate Tottenham.
All about
We
us.
hate Tottenham.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm going to sign us out now. For those of you that are watching, please like, comment, subscribe. In whatever order it goes in, I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Gatessy's other one. Share it, do your bits.
I'll tell you what. Hang on. How about this?
Oh, what's he up to now? There it is. Like the video, subscribe, enable your notifications so when me and Gatesy upload more of this absolute dirge, you can get to watch it because it's a lot of fun. We enjoy recording it. We hope you enjoy watching it as well, guys. Other than that, boys, I think we've got Wolves coming up on Monday, but we're recording this on Saturday, so you'll know the score. Yeah, that's
On
too
Wednesday.
much headache. That's
Doesn't
far too
matter.
much
We're
headache.
talking this is history. No, this is history. We're not going to talk about Wolves. This is reminiscing about when we were at school and Panini albums and
Panini albums. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to dig some out.
There's 2, 3 special channels on it, mate. I've been following on Panini channels. Very special.
Find one. Send me a link.
And I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you a story about what my mum done with my collection as well. Really proud of her.
Not right now. It's
not now. No. Nothing now, mate. Nothing now.
Gentlemen, I'll see you soon. Take care.
Up the Hammers.